I'm buying. I don't buy them directly from this country.
Yeah. I mean, do you like, is this one from Mexico? Ooh, God, no. That's a California avocado. Not buying that.
Keith is asking if you're getting another tattoo in Vegas.
I'm not. No. I do have one in mind, but it's not going to happen in Vegas. Got to get it planned out, and I will do it local. I'll keep my tattoo money in Alabama. I'll shop local.
You've got a plan. You haven't told us about
Jimmy
this.
Gateway,
Yeah.
what is it going to be? Can you tell us?
I did. I thought I did a video. Taylor shot a video. Did she not put it out?
I have no idea. I don't see all our videos.
Well, I can't draw it for you right now. Maybe on the plane.
Well, I mean, just give us a theme.
Is it Taylor Swift related?
No, I've actually designed it myself. It is a heartbeat, one heartbeat,
right,
in a long plane that is also a mountain range. The heartbeat is, and then it's the journey that I've been on in my life. You've got a setting sun that the sunbeams form a heart, so it's both spiritual and earthly on my journey there, and it's going to go right above long live.
So what are you going to do if you flatline out right when you get that?
Yeah,
moment?
I mean, the flat line's the end of your life.
Yeah, but I'm saying this could be it, though.
It flat lines out.
Well, where are you on this journey? Are you in the mountains?
It's my final heartbeat. No, I'm till the end of time. I'm chasing my religious, spiritual, and earthly best.
So this is going to be representative of your final heartbeat?
My final heartbeat.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was representative of your entire life.
Hey, to each their own, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Tyler's got a
there it is.
cartoon on his leg.
Yeah, Lunsford nailed it.
Yeah,
why don't you let him do it?
To the right of the mountain.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's actually really cool. I just thought you meant that was indicative of your entire life. It's representative of your final heartbeat.
But the journey always pursuing until the very end, to the final heartbeat of being better both spiritually and earthly.
Okay.
Will you put a script A instead of the mountain?
Some people could see that.
It's got a point on it.
All right, back to college football we go, brought to you by our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing. Give me number 5 and 6. Steve Sarkisian, the other game that's not getting as much talked about here is Texas and Washington. And this game is promising to be a shootout. Texas arrived yesterday in New Orleans, and a day later than everybody else, it seems like. They roll into New Orleans with the Longhorn flag hanging out of the right there in the pilot's crew. And then here comes Sark walking down. And quickly he gets some beads, as you do in New Orleans.
Didn't have to show anything for him.
Did not have to show anything for him. And then he gets the opportunity to talk about this football team. Cut 5 first. It's a big stage. Texas is in the playoffs finally for the first time. And people are asking Sark, is this stage maybe too big for his guys?
I think one thing that's helped us this year, we've played in some pretty tough environments, right? We've had to go on the road, and naturally, playing in Tuscaloosa was helpful for us.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live will share the latest interviews and videos from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and campuses all over the college landscape. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Live Daily Show. Jim, Lance, and Ryan will share their thoughts, and remember, you can always see the old shows on the Next Round Live YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and don't forget to comment. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. It's Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
You've been wearing that thin, raggedy t-shirt for years now, and people cannot stop whispering and staring in your vicinity. We've all been there. Luckily, there's a solution to your lack of fashion and social cues. At NextRound.store, they have plenty of options when it comes to a variety of shirts and hats. Once you start putting that Next Round gear on, be prepared to make new lifelong friends and hundreds of unforgettable conversations. Hope you like random high fives in the street, because that's what you're getting after visiting nextround.store.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
You want to look great while supporting your favorite show? You know the place to go is the official Next Round store at nextround.store. Yes, there are .store domains, and we have one. From shirts to hoodies to hats and all kinds of fun stuff, you can rep the Next Round anywhere you go. At the beach, Next Round hats to block out that sun. Up north in the winter, get you a comfy Next Round hoodie. Just need something to put your $20 beer in at a game? Get you a Next Round koozie and throw that thing in your pocket. You never know what stuff Jim's going to make me put in there next. Check it out. It's the Next Round store at nextround.store.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Get here. Well, we're here, and that's what's important as we get rolling today out here in Las Vegas at the Doghouse. This is the sports bar. I told you guys before, right over there are those betting windows where I would come down every day during the NCAA tournament a couple of years ago.
Oh, this is the place?
This is the place.
How about that?
Where I went the infamous 2 of 30.
Yeah, I still don't believe that.
There should be a plaque. Dude, I could get people on the phone that would tell you it was that way.
Yeah.
Right, but 2 and 28 is nearly impossible. What people don't realize.
2 and 30, 32 games that weekend.
Oh,
yeah. Even worse. Yes.
What people don't realize, it's as difficult or more difficult to go 0 and 10 than it is 10 and 0.
Absolutely. But I love this sports bar setup here. So Doghouse, this is Resort World we're in. And obviously it is 7 a.m. local time out here. This place never sleeps. But
did we ever learn that last time?
We will get to our journeys and such as the day progresses. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, the whole gang back there in Birmingham, making this all possible. Taylor Korn in Nashville, covering Auburn, their final day before their game tomorrow. And then, of course, we have Emily Grace McWhorter, who is experiencing what we experienced yesterday as she tries to make it out to Los Angeles to meet us later today for our Rose Bowl coverage. She sends an early morning text to us saying she's already delayed out of Atlanta.
Welcome to the club.
On her way to Los Angeles.
Yeah, I was just going to blame Southwest because it seems like and I heard somebody at one of the bars we were at last night, one of the airports, saying, did you realize Southwest is the second most delayed airline out there right now?
I've never been delayed before in Southwest until yesterday.
It's nonstop, but it's every airline, I guess.
I would say I got to go back and count. Well, were we on time? Ocean City to Salisbury, I can't remember.
I mean, close enough.
Close enough, yeah.
If it's 30,
oh no, that one coming home got delayed.
Yeah,
I remember that was at the airport a long time.
But if it's not delayed more than an hour, I don't really count that.
Yeah, I would.
Get that. The frustrating thing though is when you're sitting there and it's like departure 7:05, and then it jumps to 7:30, and then to 7:45, and then 8:15.
Yeah, you know what's happening.
Yeah. Oh boy, we're in trouble.
Up on, hey, I've got to start making plays. Am I staying in this town tonight?
So throw one up for EG as she makes her way to LA. We'll meet her at LAX at some point today and make our way to our Malibu stage, our Malibu studios for the weekend coming up. Saturday is media day. Weather's shaky as we do the show live here on a Friday. The media day is supposed to be at the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, they just plan everything outside for the Rose Bowl, right? They're like, weather ain't gonna be bad. But
yeah, if it rains, I have not seen the contingency plan.
I have no idea.
But we'll be at media day.
It's a
Saturday.
safe play typically.
Normally,
Southern California.
They really write songs about it never raining in Southern California. But we're in Vegas this morning. We'll give you a look around the Doghouse and such on our social media platforms, and we appreciate the folks here getting out early with us today. We'll talk about no sleep and all that coming up a little bit. We're here. We're live. And the biggest story,
look at the screen, though. I'm wearing the exact same color as the couch. I look like just a disembodied floating head. Like when the shot, when Scott first punched us up live, I was like, where am I? Oh, wait a minute. I just wear the same color as the couch.
I think Brown is on the least amount of sleep
that you've ever seen me on?
That I may have ever seen you on.
Am I cranky?
Yeah, you're not yet.
Oh, wow. Did you catch that?
That usually happens later in the day with you.
I got that. The good news is we've got a bucket of Kicking It Coolers.
That's right.
Richard Holland.
That's our host here.
Yep. Help put this thing together. It's on ice right now, so whenever you want to take one of those, take the edge off a little bit.
I'm fine. I really am.
I am day drinking today.
I am too.
I'm day drinking early to bed. That's what I'm doing. I know, but I'm day drinking later.
First of all, there's no such thing as the walk of shame in Las Vegas, but you will see some interesting things at this time of the morning. I have never gotten up at this time of the morning. I've come in at this time of the morning in Las Vegas.
Right.
You really have to get up this time. If you're ever out here for March Madness, and I encourage everyone to make that trip out here at some point. And if you ever make that trip out here, you've got to get up this early to make your bets. unless you do them the night
Yeah,
before.
do it the night before.
Yeah.
That's the way to
That
do it.
does seem like professional. Now that I say it out loud, that does seem like the better way to do it. The lines are long in the morning, and your crunch time because the games would tip coming up here at 9 local time.
I handicap Vegas a little bit different when I'm in Vegas. My plays went out last night as opposed to today.
Some insider information. Biggest story, and it's really not game related. That's how big of a story this was yesterday. Right after LT tells us about our friends at Redmont Vodka, we've got a case in tow on our way to California.
We do. We've got something specially planned for you guys. A last call coming up on Redmont Vodka. We're going to put that together over the weekend. We think it's going to be on Saturday. Location undisclosed right now. We're trying to figure that out. But if you're out here in California, it's available. They distribute it out here. One of the 22 states that you can get the locally owned and operated product of Redmont Vodka. It's 8 times distilled. It's gluten-free. Pick up a bottle this holiday season of Redmont Vodka.
All right. So the biggest story to me, guys, is the commitment in the portal yesterday of a 5-star. This was the number 2 cornerback who went to USC in the 2022 class. He's played in 18 games. And Damani Jackson at Alabama's practice yesterday, and he comes out of the portal and he commits to Alabama. Alabama's got 2 portal guys, 2 5-star guys that they were in on to Texas A&M and USC down to the wire on signing day. Both of them not happy where they are now. They both hit the portal, both 5-star guys. Both will be filling a hole for Alabama next year. I know we're in the middle of a playoff run, but this story was big to me for several levels. First off, 6'1" corner in space, will play in the NFL someday in a position where Alabama may lose 4 starters to the NFL after this season.
Yeah, look, it was a possession of need, and Damani Jackson is one of these guys that they really didn't go after this year. And the only thing I would think of is if you're a program like USC and you can lose your guys, the portal is open for everyone.
Yeah.
And I think everybody is touchable. We'll call it that. But Damani Jackson, as you said, 6'1", he has got world-class speed. He's a guy that just didn't get tested a lot this year. And my assumption is he was viewed as a lockdown corner that never played for an elite defense, and now he has an opportunity to go play for what is year in, year out an elite defense.
Yeah, I mean, it is a hard sell, though, to sell me getting somebody from that defense, as bad as that defense was.
But to LT's point, they're throwing away from him, so he was never challenged.
Lance always said that defense got a lot of athletes. It's just poor coaching.
Yeah.
I mean, you did say that a lot. When I knew like something was up, I mean, look, I am not going to pretend like I followed this guy in the transfer portal. I really had no idea, Dunaway. But I saw reports from the media. USC defensive back Damani Jackson is at Alabama's practice. I'm like, that's interesting.
They're in L.A.
They're in L.A. He's probably got Mater Days. I'm sure he's got some guys he played against or knows or whatever. And then I see video. Nick Saban, he's in that drill. Where he's in the straw hat and he's running, let's go. It's everybody, let's move. And he sees Damani Jackson. It's like, let's go. And then he runs over and he's like, hey, how you doing?
Damani, man.
And I'm like, Nick Saban stopped what he was doing to practice to talk to this kid.
A playoff practice.
Practice. Yeah, this is not practice for Chattanooga.
Yeah. Now, that gets me to the other angle. Okay, because you've had a feeling all year long about the possibility of Nick Saban at the end of this year and what it could mean. He's now convinced 2 5-star guys to leave. Texas A&M's in a different situation. USC had a down year too, but those are named programs. Those are money programs. He's convinced 2 big 5-star guys to come sign up at Alabama. Does that change your feeling at all about where you are on Nick Saban's future at Alabama? Are you starting to get the feeling that even if he wins it all, that he is in a little bit longer?
Again, that was just a gut feel
right,
that this was going to be it for Nick Saban. Some other people have kind of jumped on that bandwagon. If Alabama's able to close the deal, win 2 more games, win another national championship, he's going to be done. I don't know. If you're Damani Jackson, you know what USC is, or at least what it has been the last couple of years for you. And even if you went to a new regime at Alabama, there's really not going to be drop-off for a couple of years. You're going to be playing in the highest exposure.
Oh, this guy's one and done, most likely, right?
Yeah.
He's got 2 years of eligibility left. So if he's any good, he's going to the NFL.
And so I would say some of those kids that have already been in the game for a couple of years, and they kind of know what it's all about at this level. I don't know if it's as important to them. And then the other side, Nick Saban is going to work a full 18-hour day until the day he walks out. It's almost like, I don't know if you guys remember the story. Mike Sherman was recruiting Johnny Manziel, and he's like, I'm not going to be your coach, but I will tell you this. College Station's an incredible place. They've got incredible fans, and you need to sign with this university.
Okay.
I'm not going to be your guy.
I see your point.
Yes.
No,
so you're telling
I don't
me
think Nick Saban is retiring. I don't, right?
Right.
So I'm one of the one, and I don't know that I've ever predicted he is at any point in his career, just because, everybody's going broke betting on this guy retiring, right? So I'm never going to try to say he's retiring. That said, I don't read this as any evidence that he is or isn't, because I agree with Lance. The day Nick Saban works his final day in Tuscaloosa, he'll be recruiting that day.
Yeah.
I promise you that.
Yeah.
I promise you.
So
that.
if he was a golf superintendent,
yeah,
he would still mow the grass
That's
like
right.
he had 365 months before.
That's right.
There is no shag and flies with Nick Saban.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine his final day when he announces his retirement, I mean, he'll recruit right up until the bell on that final day. So I also don't read it in the other way. Now, that said, I don't think Nick Saban's retiring at the end of this year, but I'm not sure I would read a Damani Jackson commitment either way.
Yeah. I just found it interesting that in the middle of a playoff run, he has pulled down 2 5-star portal guys. I mean, usually Nick is an after the season portal guy. He likes to see what he has coming back.
Can't wait anymore.
And makes that decision. He's gone 2 5-star guys now, and that was a big one. I thought it was big enough to lead the show. Than talking about practice or anything else that went on yesterday. We'll get to all the stories you've heard people talking about.
But more so, not that Damani Jackson has a ton of upside and can come right in for 2 corners that are going to be in the top 15 of the NFL draft in the first round. You more so just have a feeling because these guys are
it was twofold.
Okay.
It was twofold. It was one that this guy, at least in what I'm reading from people, they think this guy is a future NFL corner. So Alabama has gone in. They're replacing what has become now what looks like 2 first-round DBs, or at least early second round for one of them, and brought in another guy that is going to project really high into the NFL as well. And, you've got Amos and some of the other guys who are highly recruited already in Tuscaloosa. But if this Alabama team who has Milroe back next year and has these great running backs and these receivers and that offensive line, all this talented team coming back next year, the secondary is the strength this year. That's where they've got to replace it for next year. And we've got, 8 months to talk about that. But I think we'll circle this day. If Alabama's in the playoffs next year, the 12-teamer, we'll circle this day and say this was a big day for that pursuit of a 12-team playoff spot for Alabama. Let's talk about our travels out here. If you're traveling in 2024, JohnstonRVCenter.com. This is, let's see, we went on the road to Louisville with the basketball team, and Nick was there.
Right.
We went down to Floribama to honor the American veterans and those that are still serving Army-Navy game. Nick was there. I wonder, is Nick heading out here?
I haven't heard.
There's Nick's table. We got Nick's table there.
With Nick, we've got a seat for you in Vegas if you're rolling in.
Guys, you're going to have to move. That's Nick's table.
Yeah, I mean, we got room on the couch for you if you're with us here. I don't know if he's coming to Pasadena. If Bama wins, I bet he's in Houston.
Yeah, probably. We may ride with him.
We may ride with him.
And a RV from Johnston RV Center. You could do the same. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur is where you find Johnston RV Center, and always online, JohnstonRVCenter.com. They have gone to the Forest River Expo, and they have picked out all the new RVs that will be coming in there, the new floor plans, and those are arriving already. You can get them as low as $179 a month, so you got a great deal there. But the one thing that is huge for you is they have really, really got almost overstocked in their previously owned because you have responded so well to the advertising, a lot of trade-ins there, and this is some new stuff. So you go see that as well and get great savings on that because they need to get it out of the way. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, always online, JohnstonRVCenter.com.
We'll talk about what we saw yesterday in college football and what's coming up today a little bit later on, but it is a full slate of games today, and we're in a sports book. You see the ticker behind Brown here. We got big screens on 3 walls over here. Just a massive place. And again, this is the Doghouse at Resort World.
Yeah, this is as new as it gets for a sports book.
Yeah, and
Love it.
And this is a spacious sports book with really good food. And I've said this on the air a couple of times, even before I knew we were coming here, that I love the casino here because it is a spacious, it's not a cramped old style casino.
That's what Lunsford was saying last night during our airport show, is that he really loves this casino because of the way it is set up.
It's one of the newer ones. It's not built old style. Everything's not on top of it.
Right. And Scott called Forrester earlier to ask him about something on the show. And he's like, did you get a lot of rest? I was like, yeah, no, that'd be a negative.
Yeah.
I said, you walk into this hotel at my body clock, 2:45. Local time was 12:45.
Yeah, we'll get into that. 2:45 now is our body clock when we're rolling through Vegas in our car from the airport. I mean,
And I told Scott, and then you just walk into the most visually stimulating thing possible. I'm like, how do you go to bed?
And you know what else, Brown?
What?
I don't know how many times you've come to Vegas in casinos. They're also pumping extra oxygen in here.
Yeah, I did. I felt it. I could breathe, Jimmy.
Yeah.
I could breathe.
The moment you walked in here, all of a sudden, did you not get a little extra?
I did.
A little
felt
extra
better
kick.
when I got here.
So people might have noticed I was not on y'all's show last night.
Right.
And we decided to
We were asked a lot.
and take two different paths here. And yesterday we started talking after the show and we got delayed. And I was like, the connector in Dallas, the original flight that we were all on, that connector in Dallas
looks shaky.
It's starting to get like this.
The layover gap was closing too quickly for our comfort.
So you called, you found there was a flight that went from Birmingham to Midway in Chicago and then to Vegas.
Yeah, not ideal, by the way.
But it left 3 hours before mine. I went on and I said, you know what? I'm going to roll the dice.
Yep.
And we'll see what happens. And we ended up getting to Las Vegas at the same time.
Roughly, yeah. We beat you maybe by 20, 30 minutes, if that.
Yeah, maybe 45 minutes. We took time to go get to one of your favorite places,
got a
Shake Shack. Got a milkshake. It was 1 in the morning.
I was like rolling off a plane at 1 in the morning. My body clock.
Let me tell you, I had 2 milkshakes yesterday in airports.
Yeah, totally did.
I had one in Birmingham and one in Vegas.
Still about way to wellness, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the milkshake crave?
Well, I mean, we got off in Vegas. We were going to kill time and just wait on you guys to do one car service to the airport with our 62 bags. And as soon as we walked off, there was this smell. And I was like, there's a burger place still open. You can smell it instantly. We round the corner. It's freaking Shake Shack. But then we get up to the counter and they're closing. And then it was the most confusing conversation of all time.
They're arguing about what shakes are available.
Yeah. Brown wants a black and white.
We don't have that.
But we don't have that.
And then the guy goes, only the black and white.
We've only got a chocolate.
Yeah.
And so then Brown's waiting without his ticket. So she gives me a ticket. And I said, I would like a black and white. She goes, we're out of all milkshakes now. I said, how can he get a milkshake and I'll be out of milkshakes? And then the guy walks around. Hey, who wanted the strawberry? Brown was like, well, I wanted a strawberry, but she said there was no strawberry.
Yeah.
So
he was like, oh, I thought you ordered a black and white. I was like, well, I tried to. They said there was not a black and white.
So they gave him the strawberry, and I said, I'll take his black and white. We don't have a black and white.
They start arguing with each other. That's not a black and white. That's a chocolate.
Oh, we have just chocolate. I said, well, I'll take the damn chocolate.
You got chocolate?
Yeah. I don't really
strawberry.
love chocolate. I like black and white. Chocolate's a little too chocolatey. But so I had the milkshake while we waited on it. So but virtually,
virtually time.
We didn't wait long.
Thank God it worked out. I mean, you felt like you probably were not going to be here for this show, so thankfully it worked out.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt like if we got delayed one more time, I wasn't going to be here. But we also found that there was going to be another flight out of Dallas last night.
Yeah. I will say this: that it would not be ideal if you're going to come to Vegas to fly through Midway. It was basically the only option we had to guarantee we got out here. That is a haul from Chicago to Vegas.
4 hours.
Well, it ended up being 3.
Yeah, 3 hours. We had
downwind. We were downwind.
That's close to what Dallas was. Dallas was like 2:45.
Well, that was a brutal flight too.
Got a good movie on
and the only thing I thought we were on the most depressing flight, that Chicago to Vegas flight, because everybody was exhausted until we got here. And the announcement over the entire airport is final call for the flight to Newark.
Yeah.
Newark. It was leaving at like 1 in the morning.
And I told Brown, I said, Dude, you want to see the saddest people in the world? You go to that with that morning over there. Those people at 1 a.m. Vegas time
About to fly cross country.
about to fly to Newark.
Yeah.
Because you're not on that flight if you want anything in Las Vegas. You're only on that flight. You're only on that flight when you have lost. You booked it because it was a Kano to start with, the red eye, and you've changed your flight plans if you've won anything.
Well, there is nobody awake on that flight.
No.
It is pitch black.
Snoring all the way. Yeah.
It's when they made the announcement, I was like, but I would walk to Newark before I'd get on that flight. I don't think there's any way I'd get on that flight.
That is a ghost voyage.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, there's 50 restaurants and bars in this hotel.
Is there really?
Yeah.
I've seen a bunch of them.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm looking. Did you just see that somewhere? Or did you know that already?
No. I knew that.
Lance has done his homework.
No, I stayed out here in May.
Yeah. I love this place.
You ready for one of these?
I am not ready for one of those now, unless they're ice cold, and I'll put them on my back left hip because the sitting has killed me. I'm sorry.
Cold.
I'm sorry if I'm a little squirmy on the air today, but I'm going to have to keep moving just because of the back problem.
Jimmy hip injury.
Yeah, it's not very good.
I thought it was hamstrings.
It is hamstrings, but it's shooting up all the way up into my hip this morning. So
he's a horse. What do we do?
Oh, we'd have long since tracked him back and put a bullet in him.
So tell me, how many hours sleep you got?
I think it was 2. It was so chopped up, it's hard to tell. I mean, we did not get here until basically 2:45. I came down and just kind of took the place in, saw where we're doing the show from and all that. And to your point, I did kind of get a second win.
Yeah.
When I got in the casino area, I didn't play any games or anything, but I did, just kind of walk around and scope out the casino here. So by the time I got back up to my room, I was kind of charged back up. So it took me a minute to go to sleep.
Took me a minute to go to sleep too.
Yeah.
I think I got 3 hours. But again, I was waking up every 30 minutes.
It was very chopped up.
Looking at the clock.
I hate that feeling.
Yep.
Yeah. So my layover was at Love Field in Dallas.
You slept on the way?
No. When we got to Love Field, though, the only restaurant open, we had like a 30-minute layover, if that. The only restaurant open was Chili's.
You got some baby backs? Some baby back.
Got some sliders.
Did you get any of those gift cards from late? She always loves the chili gift card.
Before she told me not to get this year. Before I even could leave Love Field, the plane, I was the last one to board because I was in the bathroom. I mean, it completely destroyed me. But
go ahead. Brown, don't get into yours. We got video of yours later in the show.
I was going to say, when I was in Chili's, I met this couple from Midland, Texas, and they were heading out to Las Vegas because they were coming out to see Luke Bryan, huge Luke Bryan fans. And the next thing I know, and Brown, you saw this when we came down to check out the doghouse, and then we walked to the casino, to the bar in the middle of the casino, the last bar that was open actually out on the casino floor. I get a drink. I turn around. That couple's sitting there.
Oh, played it.
But I didn't understand that they had met on the plane. I thought Lance was telling me they had met like years earlier in Midland, Texas, and then just boom, they run into one another.
We met in the airport.
Yeah,
and they happened to be
this
on
trip?
my flight. Yeah.
See, I didn't
And
understand
then they
that.
were in the casino.
And I was like, God, what a small world situation.
So
This is
two single people getting on a plane flying from Midland, Texas to Vegas, and they just met?
No.
Oh, okay.
A couple that's been married 31 years.
Okay.
They basically take what you just said to the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I happened to meet them at Chili's.
Okay.
And we were talking about football and all kinds of things. And the next thing I know,
I happened to beat them
we're
at
in the
Chili's.
casino, and they're right there. And they came to see Luke Bryan. Is Luke Bryan that big?
Oh, yeah. That's a big deal.
He is big. He was bigger 5 years ago.
Is he more of the Harry? Would he be Harry Styles of the pop world? Is that?
Luke Bryan, and I don't want to offend anybody. I think he is what the country music people would call bro country.
Okay.
That
Florida Georgia Line.
That little pop country craze for a little bit that a lot of people did not like. I like Luke Bryan.
So hypothetically, we're in Tupelo, Mississippi in the 70s, and Waylon and Willie and Hank are sitting around.
I don't think they would hang out with Luke Bryan.
Yeah, and Luke Bryan walks in, they're like, no.
I don't think so.
Bar next door.
I don't think so. Yeah. Luke Bryan is more of the country music television awards, and he has a couple songs I sing along with. Yeah, but he is. I think he was that little window of pop country there that a lot of people said was, very popular. Brought a lot of new fans to country music, but I don't think he is.
Are you a fan?
A lot of diehard.
I'm not a big Luke Bryan fan now.
But that's that. Special guest with us here at the Doghouse.
Right here.
Todd Fuhrman will be sitting on the couch by Brown over there telling us about his new album and a movie he's got coming up. It's like we're doing a talk show here today. All right. Show being brought to you today by our friends at Bromberg's to end the year here with Bromberg's. We'll get into Jaylen Milroe's outspoken day with the Rose Bowl media yesterday about a subject that you could tell was very, very personal for him. And we'll talk about his relationship with Bill O'Brien and how Jaylen Milroe discussed that yesterday. That's coming up. We're on the road. All of our Rose Bowl coverage being brought to you by great sponsors. Stay with us on our social media platforms for coverage from media days to just what we're doing around town. Later on, you'll see what Brown had to eat in Chicago. You'll see what Brown did when he first got to Vegas. We'll get to all that stuff as we move on. But Bromberg's, make sure you've got the diamond you need in 2024.
Just great people. I've known them for more than 2 decades, the best in the business. Always said this, nothing like giving or getting that silver box from our friends at Bromberg's. Again, fantastic people. If you're thinking about popping the question in 2024, head into one of those 2 locations. Mountain Brook. There's also one at the Summit location. You can shop online right now. Go to brombergs.com.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Southern Rubber Tire, your choice for tires and service in downtown Birmingham. Bryant and the guys can handle any of your automotive needs. They carry all major tire brands. Southern Rubber, conveniently located 6th Avenue North near I-65. Check them out online, southernrubbertire.com, and let them know you heard it on the Next Round. Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com.
This holiday season, help feed families in need by donating at your local Piggly Wiggly. With your donation, Piggly Wiggly and Coca-Cola will provide free packaged holiday meals through the Community Food Bank of Central Alabama. Look to make your donations of $1, $5, or $10 at the register inside your local Piggly Wiggly. Visit thepigbeham.com or mypigglywiggly.com for the location nearest you. Enjoy the real magic of the season.
What are you waiting for? It's non-stop gaming action at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Come play more than 900 of the latest and greatest games around, featuring fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can wager and win on horse and greyhound races from all over the world. There are more ways to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Birmingham Racecourse Casino, located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
The Double Down Media podcast family is live and full of content for all ages. The Mystery Fifth Hour gives the Next Round host a chance to talk about everything but sports. Pour a glass of Bama and bourbon, our weekly college football conversation, while sipping on some of the most interesting pours in the bourbon world. And in our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, LT takes off the gloves for in-depth conversations with stars like Taylor Hicks, presented by Redmont Vodka. Find these podcasts and more by searching The Next Round on Apple, Spotify, and on our website, nextroundlive.com.
We'll get to our Jaylen Milroe conversation in just a second. Alabama
Spent some time yesterday in full pads. They'll do it again today. One more day. See, this is Wednesday of game week, right? Am I doing that correctly? Monday's the game. That would be Saturday. Sunday would be Friday. Saturday would be Thursday. So this is Wednesday.
Yes, it is Wednesday of game week.
Yeah, so another 2-hour practice plan today for Alabama. This is them out there at practice yesterday from our man Chris McCulley and ABC 3340. Kevin Steele there and company working. The defensive players get a chance to meet with the media today. Out there in sunny California, where there should be some rain over the weekend, but at least right now, 63 and sunshine at kickoff, planned anyway, on Rose Bowl Monday, January 1st, as we move to a new year, and Alabama tries to continue their dynasty as the team that was there during the teens and into the 20s now in college football with Nick Saban.
You know, it's funny. I was just randomly thinking of this, watching the Mayo Bowl. I mean, I think we'd all agree Mac Brown looks old. I don't think that's like breaking news. I mean,
he does. He is
technically
old.
is old.
Yeah.
But the fact that he and Nick Saban coached in that game is just kind of the diversion of their careers at that point. I mean, they were both at the top of the game.
Yeah, 2009 you're talking about in Pasadena.
Yep.
Those were the coaches, and Mac looked a lot younger then.
Yeah, no, he did. I mean, he and Saban looked like contemporaries at the time, and you look at him now, and Mac just looks old.
Yeah. Our show, our coverage, all of our live show coverage on the road here in Vegas, in Malibu, in Pasadena throughout the weekend, then back here in Vegas is brought to you by a couple of great sponsors. One of those, our friends at Southern Rubber downtown. They're the place to, my daughter called up the other day. Hey, boyfriend's car, where should I take it? Southern Rubber. Take him to Southern Rubber downtown.
Yeah, it's your choice for tires and service in downtown Birmingham. Bryant and the guys can handle any of your automotive needs, carry all major tire brands. Financing is available from brakes to alignments to oil changes and more. No job too big or too small. Southern Rubber Tire, conveniently located 6th Avenue North, right near I-65. You can check them out online, southernrubbertire.com.
And also by our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. 35 urologists stretch through 16 locations across the state of Alabama, treating all your urological needs. Now, this is everything from prostate health to kidney stones. Guys, as we get older, you get into your 30s, into your 40s and 50s, you got to keep things under check. That's what Urology Centers of Alabama will do for you. Schedule an appointment today, 16 locations near you. Find out the one near you and set up a checkup. Urology Centers, Alabama.com, Urology Centers, Alabama.com. Rockstar, give me Jaylen Milroe, cut number 2, if you can. Yesterday, the offensive players from Alabama talked and the Michigan defensive players talked. So Jaylen Milroe gets asked a question, and it's about him at quarterback and how he wasn't the starter to start with. And former Alabama offensive coordinator Bill O'Brien suggested maybe a faster place and maybe a more comfortable place for Jaylen Milroe wouldn't be a quarterback. Here's how that exchange went yesterday. This is Jaylen Milroe right now on the Next Round.
Was there a moment where someone wanted you to play a different position or something and you kind of said, no, I'm a quarterback?
Shoot, all my life, even when I was in college. Shoot, my own offensive coordinator, Bill O'Brien, told me I shouldn't play quarterback. So, there's a lot of things I can, have motivation on, and that is something I have motivation from.
Do you remember how you felt when you said that?
How would you feel if I told you you suck?
Probably wouldn't like it.
Okay then, so that's exactly how I felt, you know what I'm saying? So biggest thing for me, be true to myself and, stay the same. Nothing changed about me. Only thing that changed me was I had the opportunity and I seized it. And so for me, the biggest thing was just stay true to myself and, I had a bigger purpose than anyone's opinion. He told me a bunch of business I could have switched to, but look where I'm at right now. So, you know what I'm saying? So who gets the last laugh?
Well, I'll tell you, Alabama fans critical of Bill O'Brien. He's been holding that for a while. We're going to wait until the stage is really, really big and everybody can clearly hear me. Yeah. But the former offensive coordinator that was really criticized at Alabama didn't even want me to play this position.
Yeah, and you're right. That's the biggest stage you can make that comment on. Really haven't heard that all year long. Ryan Hennessy, WVTM 13, with a question, I believe, if I recognize the voice there, our buddy there. The there was a little anger. In
That's
Jaylen's
an
voice.
FU.
Well,
That's a major FU. And I don't blame him.
It kind of built up, right? So it started with, he wanted me to move to tight end. Well, how'd you feel? How would you feel if somebody told you suck?
Yeah.
But it ended with who got
Hennessy said, Dunaway did.
Yeah.
It didn't make me feel good.
It ended with who got the last laugh. So obviously it is very personal there. I mean, when you say who got the last laugh, I mean, that's super personal. So look, and this is what this guy has kind of built his career at Alabama on. Even the shirt he wears says, let all the naysayers know.
I don't have Bill O'Brien's back here, but the fact of the matter is there were a lot of people, and I even think internally in the program, that thought Jaylen would probably transfer, and they didn't necessarily have a problem with that because I don't think anybody saw where Jaylen Milroe was to where he is now.
Dude, they brought in Tyler Buckner.
Yeah. That's all you need. That guy's playing lacrosse next year.
I mean, do you bring in Tyler Buckner? And we brought this up on our live airport show last night when Brown and I were just killing time drinking beer and eating caramel popcorn.
I miss that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
So we're sitting there. It's not as much fun without you there. I'll be honest with you. Brown and I are.
I thought about doing one.
We
I
support cast.
I didn't know how to do it. Like, because I used to be able to do the Twitter. What was the Twitter live thing?
Yeah. I can't remember the name of it.
I forgot what it was called, Periscope or something.
Yeah, Periscope. Yeah,
but I could do that, but I didn't. I don't even know if you can still do that. So I was going to do one because I figured you guys were on the flight, but I didn't know how to connect.
Yeah, and then when we were doing it, you were on the flight. But we brought this up last night. Do you think, and we're just going to take Jaylen at his word that Bill O'Brien did say those things. Do you think Bill O'Brien on his own goes and has a conversation with Jaylen Milroe about moving to tight end or defensive back?
No, I don't.
Without other coaches, all the way up to Nick Saban being in the discussion. Bill O'Brien doesn't have that authority to walk in there and say,
Nick Saban, the F you? What?
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine walking to Saban's office saying, hey, by the way, Jaylen Milroe's moving to tight end? Whoa.
Who brought that up?
Whoa.
Who brought that up?
He's moving to tight end.
So my point is if Jaylen's really pissed, at some point he's got to ask Nick Saban, what did you know?
Well,
when did you know it?
You don't know that these conversations haven't happened, though. I mean, this could have already been something Nick Saban has discussed with him, and Bill O'Brien doesn't have a chance to because Bill O'Brien is now the offensive coordinator of the New England Patriots, not the Alabama Crimson Tide. And let me just say this.
And by the way, real quick, before you get to your point, there are some people that can't admit they're wrong in life. I think Nick Saban has been through enough where he could say, hey, look, son, you have beat the odds. I'm so proud of you. There was doubt. There was doubt in this coaching staff, and you have proved us wrong. I wouldn't be shocked if that conversation took place.
I just, and I saw some of this last night, Dunaway turn kind of personal with Bill O'Brien. And I hate that. And I know that, look, I get the business we're in and the way football works and college athletics works, that, the fans are going to make it personal. And from everything I've heard about Bill O'Brien, he's a stand-up guy. He's a good dude. He's a good family man. He's a good football coach. He was wrong in this decision, right? But, man, I hate to see, it get kind of personal with Bill O'Brien about, this is why I hate the guy. And this, I mean, Bill O'Brien was not a great offensive coordinator at Alabama. I'm not going to pretend that he was, right? But his offense reached a national championship game and produced a Heisman Trophy winner.
Oh, but let me ask you this. If Alabama fans are true to themselves now, if you don't lie to yourself,
right,
until the second half of the Ole Miss game, did you Alabama fans really believe in Jaylen Milroe?
No. I remember us doing the shows. I mean, right after the Texas game, I think Alabama fans, and I wonder if we'll ever get like the True Hollywood story on the South Florida game. Like, I don't think Nick Saban will ever tell you that he thought what was going to happen would happen, right?
For instance, Joel Klatt believes that was a coaching move for the Alabama fan base to see what you have, stop bitching and moaning. This is what we have behind Jaylen Milroe. He's the starter because I'm the greatest coach of all time. He's our best option.
I think it was beyond that. And I don't know that Nick Saban gives two you-know-whats about what the fans think, right? Maybe he did it to get fans off the guy's back, but I also think he did it so Jaylen Milroe could see this team needs you, right? You operate as the starting quarterback. I'm going to show you you're the starting quarterback, okay? Because I could take a lot of people and go in and beat South Florida, and they showed that. I'm going to show you what this team needs. This team needs you. And Jaylen Milroe was able to stand on that sideline and see that. Now, I'm sure there was a lot that went into it, and I'm not going to pretend like if Tyler Buckner, Lance, didn't go in that game and tear it up, that he wasn't about to be the starting quarterback. He was.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you go back to Milroe at that point immediately.
I do think that staff knew Tyler Buckner wasn't going to tear it up.
Yeah, I mean, I think Nick Saban probably had seen enough of Tyler Buckner. He had a good feel of what that was going to be. So you give Jaylen Milroe a ton of confidence that he's the starting quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, there were even, there were conversations that Tyler before that game had the yips.
Yeah.
And like down on the field wasn't really able to even like complete passes in pregame warmups. And I think the coaching staff was alerted to that. But even with the yips, they were like, hey, we're rolling with this guy.
He was having a nervous moment.
Yeah.
About to be the starter at Alabama.
John said Bill O'Brien's struggling at New England this year. Not great. Well, that roster's awful. Yeah. And I just don't know that Mac Jones is going to be an NFL. So, well, pretty sure he's not going to be an NFL starter. Some people are saying they've heard the opposite about Bill O'Brien, and that's fine. I'm just telling you what I've heard. I don't know him personally. I've never had one single dealing with the guy.
Our friends at Coca-Cola remind you that Coke Zero Sugar is maybe the best Coke ever. You have to decide that for yourself. Brownie's a big Diet Coke guy.
Oh, love it.
Some of you are classics. You love the Coca-Cola Classic. I do love the Coke Zero Sugar. It's got unbelievable flavor, unbelievable taste. Sort of the zero sugar version of the Coca-Cola Classic there. Taste it for yourself this year. Our friends at Coca-Cola. Also, our friends at Odie's today as we continue this Alabama quarterback conversation after you tell us about a landmark at Odie's.
Yeah, hey, the weekend is here. You need to get in. 2 locations now. Odie's Tavern, live music every Friday and Saturday night. The original at Crestline, one right there in Homewood, the corner of Oxmoor and Broadway. Enjoy some of the great food from Rodney Davis. I had that corn dog and chili this past week. Fantastic stuff. Ice cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. Get in, see Will Over. That great staff. 2 locations. Odie's Tavern.
We'll continue the conversation on Alabama, but let's put a bow on this Jaylen Milroe situation. It was a big stage, a big opportunity for him to make his feelings known. But there are times in life when you make a comment like that, and then you go out and play your next game or you're on your next big stage, and sometimes those comments can come back to haunt you. Any concern about Jaylen Milroe in this game not playing up to the standard he has gotten to at some point this year?
No, because I think this mindset is what drives him. I think he said it on our show before. He is driven by proving doubters wrong. He knows he's been doubted. He knows that a lot of people saw Tua Tagovailoa and Mac Jones and Bryce Young play before him and didn't think he could be that guy. So I think he knows that he is doubted and is setting out to prove people wrong. So I actually think this is what drives him as a football player.
Yeah, look, and he's playing outstanding football. I mean, over the last 5 games, 10 touchdowns, only 1 pick. I think both of these quarterbacks are going to play with a chip on their shoulder. It's what drives Jaylen Milroe. But I think the biggest criticism for Michigan up until this point has been, is J.J. McCarthy any good?
Well, people think they play.
To your point, J.J. McCarthy's the other quarterback.
Yeah,
in this game.
and people think they play around him a little bit just because of the fact that when they can run the ball 30 straight times and win a game, they're fine running it 30 straight times and winning a game.
Yeah, and I forgot who I asked it to earlier this week. I said that, this would have been a crazy question in September or October. Who's got the quarterback advantage? And I think everybody says Milroe has the quarterback advantage right now. But really, if you would have asked that in October when J.J. McCarthy was still a Heisman Trophy candidate, people would have said you're insane.
No, you're right. In fact, if you stack all 4 playoff quarterbacks, there are some people, maybe the majority of them, will put McCarthy 4.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And it's not like a shot at McCarthy. I just hadn't, he hasn't had to put a game on his shoulders yet. And the 3 other quarterbacks, I've seen them play at an elite level and win games.
I think I would absolutely, and I think most people would put McCarthy for it.
Brock Ewart had him too.
Yeah.
But behind Penix?
Yeah.
So he went Penix, McCarthy. Did he go Quinn, Milroe?
No, he went Milroe and then Ewers.
Wow.
Talk about not getting respect, our boy Quinn Ewers.
Look, and I do agree with this point, though. When Quinn Ewers is on, you're like, oh, my God. You even saw a flash last year in Austin against Alabama. You can just see his God-given talent. When he is on, he is unbelievable, but he does have some moments where he is inconsistent. And that was Brock's point. The most inconsistent of the bunch is Quinn Ewers.
He is. With a great receiving core, too. I mean, that other game's got 2 great receiving cores. I mean,
phenomenal.
These the Michigan and Alabama guys have played fantastic all year long, and Bond gets better and better. You pointed this out several times. Bond gets better and better every time. Every game, he seems to become a bigger playmaker. Burton has just been steady all year long. But if you're ranking the receiving cores, 1A and 1B is in the other game.
Oh,
it's in
yeah.
the Texas.
I think 1A is Washington.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at a healthy McMillan back and obviously a Dunzy, what he's been able to do for the last couple of years, and then you throw in that third option that is Polk. I mean, that, to me, those 3 receivers are outstanding.
A lot more to get to as we're at the doghouse. I keep wanting to call it the dog pound, but it's the doghouse. And we're on our way to Pasadena. We're in Vegas for a day on the way out with a chance to hang out with some friends here at the Resort World, and we'll do it on the way back as well. Our friends at Kickin' and Coolers involved out here in Vegas as they spread this beverage that's in the pouch that we introduced you to. I think the big rollout, we did it on the show early, but when we were at the SEC basketball tournament last year is when we really started kicking it with Kickin' and Coolers.
Yeah, Richard Howland and those guys do such a great job. It kind of originated out of Nashville, and they're starting to really grow. You know, they're talking to our friends at Floribama. Obviously, it's in a lot of casinos out here in Las Vegas. Was talking to Lisa.
Yeah, she said they sell a heck out of it.
Yeah, she said, man, people just buy this stuff in bulk. They take it out to the pool. It's awesome, man. I mean, it's a Capri Sun for adults. And when you get, like, somewhere in Vegas, I don't know how you guys are about this, but, like, I'll start drinking beer all day, and I'm like, I've got to switch this up.
That's right.
And this is something that is refreshing, fantastic, great packaging. If you haven't seen it, ask for it by name, though. Kicking It Coolers. That's it right there. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, there really is wonderful stuff. And Brown mentioned our wonderful friends at Way to Wellness on my journey out here. Great people. Leslie, board certified team over there.
2 milkshakes yesterday.
They'll have, when we get to the new year and I start working out, they'll have their work cut out for them. But they're up to the challenge at Way to Wellness. Go check them out at planforme.com. It's your journey to healthy living. They will take care of you with our friends at Way to Wellness. No contracts, no sign-up fees, and the first consultation is free. When we come back, a little slither of what Brownie had in Chicago on our layover. We got some video, and we'll talk about the games we watched while we were doing our in-flight. Thank you, Southwest, for having in-flight Wi-Fi where I can watch the games, but also while we're at Midway. And then we'll set the table later on for today's big games, including a couple SEC teams in action today, and then more both from Auburn and from Alabama as we get closer to their games coming up Saturday and Monday in both the Music City Bowl and the college football playoffs. All that going on as we are live in Vegas today, right here on The Next Round. Back in a moment.
Call The Next Round now at 205-734-0923.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations, but we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, brombergs.com.
This holiday season, help feed families in need by donating at your local Piggly Wiggly. With your donation, Piggly Wiggly and Coca-Cola will provide free packaged holiday meals through the Community Food Bank of Central Alabama. Look to make your donations of $1, $5, or $10 at the register inside your local Piggly Wiggly. Visit thepigbeham.com or mypigglywiggly.com for the location nearest you. Enjoy the real magic of the season.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Southern Rubber Tire is the choice for tires and service in downtown Birmingham. Bryant and the guys can handle any of your automotive needs and carry all major tire brands. From brakes to alignments to oil changes and more, no job too big or too small. Southern Rubber and Tire, conveniently located on 6th Avenue North near I-65. You can check them out online today. Go to southernrubbertire.com. Let them know you heard it from the Next Round before you get on the road in 2024. Head into Southern Rubber Tire. Are you ready to make this holiday season one to remember? Legacy Credit Union is here to make your dreams come true with their lifestyle loans. Whether you need a little extra cash for gifts or you want to take that unforgettable holiday vacation, Legacy has the right loan for you. With affordable monthly payments, flexible terms, and absolutely no collateral required, Legacy Credit Union is your trusted partner for your stress-free holiday season. Apply in minutes. Go to LegacyCreditUnion.com to get the financial support you need to enjoy the holidays to the fullest. Again, LegacyCreditUnion.com.
Some restrictions apply. See credit union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA. Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from the Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Want more of The Next Round? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast. The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Back with you on the Next Round. We're at the Dog House in Las Vegas. Todd Fuhrman settling in over here. He's about to sit down. LT's rolling back in. That's Ryan Brown. I'm Jim Dunaway. We'll get to Brown's dinner coming up in a little bit. What he had yesterday in Chicago, it was very Chicago-esque. Our friends at New York Butcher Shop feeds Brownie a lot, though. Best steaks in town. He throws it on the grill, usually on a Friday night. Usually,
that's right, date night.
Yeah. Tell us about New York Butcher, LT, and then we'll bring in Fuhrman.
Jim and the guys do such a good job. Rare quality, well-done service. 2 locations for you. The original in Cabo Heights, one right there in Greystone Highway 119. Don't forget about the huge deli sandwiches for lunch. Great desserts, fantastic wines. One-stop dinner shop. Again, 2 locations. Get in today. It's the New York Butcher Shop.
A little bonus coverage with Fuhrman here as we relive what happened yesterday. And I want to go first, Fuhrman, with what happened last night, Arizona and Oklahoma. And I know you can't take bowl games and move them into next year and what we're going to see. But if you're Oklahoma, that's your quarterback of the future, we assume, and you're moving into the Southeastern Conference. And then Arizona's moving into the Big 12, and they're, boy, from 1-11 2 years ago to where they are now. If I'm Arizona, I'm feeling good about where I'm moving. And if I'm Oklahoma, I've got a lot of questions.
I think there were always going to be questions about Jackson Arnold, but Oklahoma had the luxury of putting him in a game situation against the team in Arizona who wanted to be there. And it provides the best self-scouting tool that they can use going into the spring. So they can look at the strengths and weaknesses, figure out what Arnold did well, hitting a couple of explosives, especially coming out of the half, and then wondering where his game management was a little bit lacking, some of the decision-making late in that game, and use that to kind of build for the future. The one thing for Jackson Arnold that he didn't have at his disposal was his normal offensive line. I mean, that was the position group that was most depleted for the Sooners. So to work with a little bit of that adversity, probably better than being thrown into a perfect situation, going, okay, this is exactly what you've done, when in reality, he's got to try and use that as a baseline. Now, on the flip side, Jedd Fisch deserves a world of credit. I mean, Arizona as a program and the trajectory he has them on, there's reason to be optimistic when you retain your head coach, making the move into the Big 12. And I know they used this term once or twice on the broadcast last night, but it's a conference that has a power vacuum. Which one of these programs is going to take the next step without Oklahoma, without Texas? Because if you're a perennial power in that league now, you don't have to go through the Big Ten grind. You don't have to go through the gauntlet that is the new look SEC. And you may have an inside track to the college football playoff. And guys, I can tell you, spending 4 years or whatever it is down in Tucson, not the worst place to play college football compared to some of the other cities in the Big 12.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Noah Fifita, watching him, his second career start against USC, and going into that game, I was like, I mean, Arizona wasn't good then. They had just 2 weeks before, they had turned it over 5 times, and they got beat by Mississippi State. And he goes out there, and that kid plays with a lot of composure. Like, I liked Jaden DeLaura before.
And Fafita has, obviously cemented himself as one of the better quarterbacks coming back next year. But for Fish to end this with 7 consecutive wins, and they're going to be more closer to finishing in the top 10 than the top 15.
Yeah, I mean, you look at what their win total was coming into the year, exceeded odds makers' expectations by a country mile, and it's a team that we talk about the betting market being.
Hey, what was it? 3.5?
3.5, and it actually took some professional money under because of their schedule and some of the things that they were going to have to go through. And we look at the betting market being the ultimate tool to try and show market efficiency. Arizona exceeded expectations week in, week out. They were one of the best teams to bet on. And every time you thought that the market had caught up to them from a power rating standpoint, they showed another level. And yesterday, the perfect encapsulation of the season. They get out to a 13-0 lead. You think it's more of the same. They give up 24 unanswered, and suddenly you're going, okay, they stepped up in class. Oklahoma has recruited in a different zip code than where Arizona has been, and they rattle off that massive run to close out the game at 25-0 to finish the season, building that momentum going forward. And LT, you mentioned Jayden de Laura. I mean, he's a guy now being talked about that USC was interested in. I mean, you can't start at Arizona. You lose your job to Noah Fafita, and suddenly USC is now in the market for de Laura. It speaks volumes about where these two programs are right now.
Team's falling apart. I was USC going to field a
team.
Hey,
you see Killer Miller the other night.
Hey, Miller Moss put up a tremendous day, and my wife, she was so disgusted with the season that USC put on the books as a proud alum. I think she slept through the entire first half, sees the score, and goes, who the hell is this Miller Moss guy? I've never even heard of him, because she used more 4-letter words when we were at the Pac-12 championship game last year against Utah about Lincoln Riley. Go, I'm not the one calling plays. If you're going to sit here, she's as close to me as I am to Brownie now. MF and this, that, and the other. Go, I'm not out there. I can't heal Caleb Williams' hamstring at halftime. I'm not a miracle worker.
Hey, check the hat out. He's rubbing it in your face today with the old school UCLA hat.
How does she feel about you wearing that?
She's tried to throw this thing out so many times over the course of the 6+ years we've been together. But I told her this hat predates our relationship, so she's got to pick her battles.
Yeah, but you're an East Coast guy, right?
I am, but for whatever reason, I've always gravitated towards the powder blue and gold of UCLA. The athletic program is what it is, but it's not fun when you're rooting for USC football and they're the perennial power there. So when I needed a Pac-12 team to identify with back in the day, it was UCLA football. The basketball team I could do without, and it was as much an effective jab at my sister as well, because she's an Arizona alum.
And Todd Fuhrman is with us here at the Doghouse in Vegas, in person, first time ever in person with Fuhrman.
Well, you guys won't foot my bill to fly to Birmingham.
That's true. We will not do that. We got to come see you. I think everybody overreacts to bowl games, but the overreaction I saw last night is Texas is in the playoffs. Oklahoma does not look SEC ready.
Here's the thing with Oklahoma. I mean, the offensive line was completely in shambles in that particular spot, but we'd seen flashes of Oklahoma before in terms of the physicality that they need. Oklahoma doesn't have the same caliber of a defensive line that Texas does. So we're going to see that on full display on Monday night with Byron Murphy and Tavondre Sweat matched up against Washington. You look at some of the difference makers that Texas has been able to recruit over the years. I mean, when you get Adonai Mitchell to transfer out of Georgia to be your number 2, or let's call him his number 3 weapon in that offense, I think Texas right now is no doubt better suited to go toe-to-toe with some of these SC teams week in, week out than where Oklahoma's at.
Reminding you that Coke Zero is the best Coke ever. Coke Zero Sugar. Give it a taste for yourself. And also our friends at Piggly Wiggly, they teamed up with Coca-Cola to help feed those in need this holiday season with the Community Food Bank of Central Alabama. You can still help out by going to mypigglywiggly.com, mypigglywiggly.com. The magic of the season with our friends at Coca-Cola and Piggly Wiggly. Fuhrman, we'll talk about the games coming up today and some NFL stuff with you in your normal segment, the next segment, but a little bit more bonus coverage right here from yesterday since you're in person with us. Man, Greg Schiano can coach. I mean, he can just flat out coach.
He gets the right player that want to buy into his style of football. There's nothing that they did that overwhelms you with skill, with athleticism, but it was physicality. They finished that game against Miami the way they started and said, you know what? We're going to run the football right down your throat, and we're going to dare you to stop us. And again, like we see week in, week out with Mario Cristobal, if it's not clock management and his inability to figure out how to properly use timeouts, it's a big play on special teams that completely flips the momentum, because Miami looked dead and buried, down 14-0 early in that game. They scored 10 points, and the touchdown to Restrepo comes off the board before the half. It's 14-10, but that doesn't slow them down. They get right on the board with the opening drive, and you're going, okay, this Miami team has been able to regroup. They're up 17-14. Let's see how Rutgers fares when they have to play from behind. They get the pump block, and then everything kind of spiraled from there. And look, Cristobal can recruit down at Miami, but he can't coach to save his life. And his game management has been an absolute disaster.
Started at Oregon. I mean, this is nothing new. It was that way at Oregon, too.
It was the fumble with Justin Herbert when he didn't realize to take knees against Stanford in that game.
I tweeted out yesterday that Mario Cristobal is Jimbo Fisher without a national championship.
I'm not even sure Jimbo Fisher deserves to be in that particular bucket, because the money that they have at the disposal now, probably not Texas A&M level, but there is going to be no excuse over the next 2 to 3 years for Miami in the ACC. It's a program that has gone all in on football, but you have to win some of these coin flips. You have to build those momentum games in some capacity. And I'm as curious as anybody to see what big name they potentially land in the transfer portal, because I don't think they're going into the spring or definitely week 1 when they take on Billy Napier in Florida next year, thinking that Emory Williams is going to be their starting quarterback.
Show being brought to you by our wonderful friends at Hemp Hill Services. We got a full segment with Fuhrman, and we'll go a lot of extra with Fuhrman. As long as he'll hang out with us here today, we'll talk with him and make him feel like a brother on the show here. Hemp Hill's been
is that a good thing or a bad thing?
We fight like brothers sometimes. Our friends at Hemp Hill, a place Birmingham folks have trusted since 1954.
Yeah, for all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Hemp Hill Services. It is hard to stop a train. Make sure that unit is ready to keep up with this changing weather. $69 tune-up when you call Adam, Chad, Andrew. Tell them the next round sent you. Hemp Hill Services, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
And also our friends at Legacy, LegacyCreditUnion.com, official sponsor of UAB. They're back in action tonight, wrapping up non-conference play with a team we're familiar with, UNC Asheville. We could give you some facts about the city of Huntsville, which we did back in the day when we did the UNC Asheville-Auburn game. But UNC Asheville at Bartow Arena tonight, 7 o'clock for that basketball game. For anything you need when it comes to your finances, whether it's a personal loan right now, maybe you want to take that dream vacation in 2024, flexible payback plans. Also, the credit card, safe shopping year-round with the Legacy card, low APR, no annual fees, no balance transfer fees. It's all right there online. You can apply for either thing. Great checking accounts as well. It's LegacyCreditUnion.com, LegacyCreditUnion.com. Couple of SEC teams in action. We kick off the New Year's Six Bowls, big playoffs going on. In the NFL, implications this weekend, and one team punched their ticket last night. We'll talk about all that with Fuhrman when we come back to the Doghouse in Vegas on the road to Pasadena. This is the next round.
Everything Alabama, all the time. Subscribe and set alerts at Roll Tide Pods on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
This holiday season, give the gift of peace and security to your home with $50 off recurring Wayne's Pest Control Services. As the weather cools down, stop mice, bed bugs, and rodents before they come in. Call 866-WAYNES1 to gift yourself a safe and pest-free home. Sign up for any recurring service with Wayne's and save $50 off. Don't let mice and rats be uninvited guests to your holiday celebrations. Get a pest-free holiday and save $50 off recurring Wayne's Pest Control Services when you call 866-WAYNES1.
Spring weather is here, and our friends at Hemp Hill Services are offering a $69 HVAC tune-up plus 10% off any service call when you mention the next round. Call Adam, Chad, and the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Make sure your HVAC unit is ready to keep up with the changing weather. Hemp Hill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. The team can service all makes and models. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, call Hemp Hill Services. It's hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com. That's 205-229-2090, hemphillservices.com.
Fire damage to your home or business is something you never want to consider. Ryan Brown here from the next round. But in the horrible event it happens, Dry Tech is here to help. They respond quickly and will reply to you within 20 minutes when you call 205-637-0143. They're working for you, the customer, not the insurance company. They've got 5 crews ready to go 24/7. Don't call the insurance company first. Call Dry Tech. Just remember this website, mydrytech.com. That is mydrytech.com.
The next round is so much more than the show you get from 9 to 1 each day. So make sure to head to our official YouTube channel at Next Round Live and subscribe to get all of our latest content. We, of course, have plenty of specialty content and shorts based all around the sports in the heart of the SEC. But we also talk pro sports, gambling, lifestyle and entertainment, and so much more. It's the Next Round YouTube channel where you never know what you're going to find next. Subscribe now to see the latest content and get notifications when we go live. That's at Next Round Live on YouTube.
This holiday season, help feed families in need by donating at your local Piggly Wiggly. With your donation, Piggly Wiggly and Coca-Cola will provide free packaged holiday meals through the Community Food Bank of Central Alabama. Look to make your donations of $1, $5, or $10 at the register inside your local Piggly Wiggly. Visit thepigbham.com or mypigglywiggly.com for the location nearest you. Enjoy the real magic of the season.
Southern Rubber Tire is the choice for tires and service in downtown Birmingham. Bryant and the guys can handle any of your automotive needs and carry all major tire brands. From brakes to alignments to oil changes and more, no job too big or too small. Southern Rubber and Tire, conveniently located on 6th Avenue North near I-65. You can check them out online today. Go to southernrubbertire.com. Let them know you heard it from the next round before you get on the road in 2024. Head into Southern Rubber Tire.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
That is Todd Fuhrman, the familiar face you usually see in a still shot. He's live in person because we're in his town, Las Vegas. It was perfect when we landed in Vegas last night because in the airport, I don't know if it's a constant, but one of my favorite bands of all time, The Killers, is playing as I'm walking off the tarmac there. I didn't walk off the tarmac.
I was going to say, when you fly into the executive airport, they roll out the red carpet.
It's not the 50s anymore.
Here comes Dunaway with Deion Sanders Louis Vuitton luggage.
We were on a Southwest last night.
Yeah. But I want to show you, Fuhrman, we are rookies when we come to Vegas, not LT, but Brown and I. Forrest, if you can show me what the first thing Brown did as we walk off the plane. We're going to kill 45 minutes until Lance gets here. And Brown walks up to the right off the gate, right into the airport there in Las Vegas. He goes to the machines, and he wants to play the slots right when he walks off. He goes up to the Buffalo. He slips in $1, and he makes the play right here. And you know what I tell him, Fuhrman? You see the video here? I tell him, These machines, they never pump out winners.
I mean, these are the highest hold slot machines in the entire city because it's a captive audience. So the payback on these machines, a far cry from what you're going to get in High Limit or some of the local joints that are out there. So you could probably count on one hand how many people actually walk away going, you know what? I got a few minutes to kill. Vegas wants to bring me back. They're going to allow me to walk out of here with a winner. Those things are there for the exact opposite reason. They want to take every last cent that you have left in your wallet after you've been broken and battered after a 72-hour bender in Vegas and leave you with nothing.
I know you and I have been through this airport. We had a layover when we were coming out 2013.
Auburn, Florida State, yeah.
Auburn, Florida State. But is this your first time actually in the city?
Yeah, actually it is. First time I've been to Vegas.
First time you've actually been
time, yeah. So I knew those machines obviously were there walking off the plane. And the flight attendant that was one of the flight attendants on our flight is walking out, and she's like, "You went right to the machine?" And I said, "I did." I said, "This guy says they never pay out." She goes, "No, people have won millions on these machines."
Oh, yeah.
So she's in on the scam.
I was to say, what she doesn't tell you is how many millions people have lost on those machines.
She was in on the scam.
Millions over the last 25 years.
Exactly. You guys see all the construction going on around the airport. How do you think we finance that?
Right.
You think it's coming out of taxpayer dollars? Absolutely not.
Fuhrman, let me ask you this. How bad do sports books hate the guy that has a 17-leg parlay player props for $5 and wins $500,000?
I mean, those are the kind of stories, actually, I think in this day and age they love, because what that does is it ultimately gets more and more people involved. And I'm a little bit worried about the fact that somehow this guy that hits the big parlay has now been anointed somehow a sports betting expert and said he's been doing it for 2 weeks to try and do it. But think of all the other.
Hey, would you not love to book him, though?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
The problem is once a guy hits a parlay like that, it's going to be tough to get that $500,000 back over $5 sample size. But there are a lot of other folks out there that see that story and they go, you know what? It's a sports betting lottery ticket. I'm going to take full advantage. They don't think anything of it. It's the same cost of a Starbucks coffee. And that's how sportsbooks continue the churn and burn that's out there. You look at some of the numbers and the hold percentages on these single game parlays. They're one of the single greatest money makers that these books have ever invented. Credit to them for trying to create a better mousetrap.
I would imagine $500,000 of $5 parlay bets were made the very next day after they read that story.
At minimum, that started to come in terms of new card signups. But A little birdie told me Dunaway actually lost that many $5 parlays during the NCAA tournament trying to round robin all 32 of those games.
This is
That he bet in this very
this is the location right over there.
Yeah.
I was looking for a plaque or a statue. I didn't see one on the wall yet, but I'm happy to try and
It's
walk
still
around.
a statue right outside the door.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic.
Over there, it's got
Jimmy hold up one.
got my handprints right at there.
Just like the Hollywood Walk of Fame, you helped finance the break room and back for the risk management.
Our friends at Michelson bringing you this part of the show as we're at the Doghouse Resort World in Vegas live out here. Local time, we're kicking at 8:09 a.m. out here in Vegas.
205-969-8100. That's the number you need to call. Ask for Amy. Tell her the Next Round sent you. They're going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. Again, 20 years ago, I had the 20/200 vision. I was legally blind without the aid of contacts. After the procedure, only took 12 minutes for both eyes. I still have 20/15 vision, better than 20/20. Make the call that I made, 205-969-8100 or online, michelsonlaservision.com.
And Brownie, our friends at mybookie.ag, where I now for the week am 0 of 7 on parlays.
Yes. There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, all he had to say was parlay, and then we knew what the record was going to be. Try and be able to
He
set
plays
it up.
multiple parlays every night.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay to bet straight bets. I know mybookie.ag might not want to hear that, but it is okay to bet one game,
Yeah, I
one,
can't remember
one
last
shot,
time-
one kill.
When's the last time you played a parlay?
It's been a long time, other than some of the correlated stuff that's out there. You know, if you want to try and tie different legs together, but it's not a nightly occurrence for me, to say the least.
Yeah.
Well,
Dunaway's got me beating that department.
I'm hooked on it.
Yeah, mybookie.ag. The sign-on bonus right now. You make your initial deposit at mybookie.ag. They match it up to $1,000 when you use code Next Round. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. Mybookie.ag. The semifinal numbers, they have basically found their resting spot there at mybookie.ag. Michigan 1.5, Texas 4. Those are the numbers. Probably a kickoff, wouldn't you think?
You may see a little bit of Washington money. I think the injury that we're all watching, the reports out of Austin have been good about Xavier Worthy, who was in the walking boot at the end of that Big 12 championship game. I expect him to be out there. If for whatever reason he were to tweak that in practice and be unable to go, you'd start to see a little bit of under money come in and see that number trend off of 4. I think we're more likely to see that game close 3.5 than go to 4.5. But there are a lot of books that'll take recreational action that'll probably settle right on 4. The Alabama-Michigan game, a very different story, because the more people you talk to, the more people don't understand how Michigan's a favorite. And as LT can attest to, that is always a dangerous predicament to be in when people think they can pull one over on odds makers in one of the biggest games of the college football schedule. So I think this is a game that could trend a little bit more towards the pick 'em area, because you're going to see professional money coming on Michigan. I just don't think there's going to be enough to stop the public onslaught and what we're going to hear over the next 72 hours from a narrative standpoint about Coach Harbaugh being 0-6 straight up in ATS and bowl games, the storylines about the satellite camps, what Alabama was able to do to Michigan a few years ago, and how good Alabama is. And I know the listenership that we have here, but Alabama fans who are brimming with confidence in this spot only need to look back to the Iron Bowl and realize it was a 4th and 31 play against a middling Auburn side where they needed a little bit of divine intervention to get to this point. And I think there's some real questions that Alabama has to answer, both on the offensive and defensive side in this game, against the Michigan team that'll be significantly healthier, even without Zach Zinter on the offensive line, than what they look like over the last couple games of the year, where J.J. McCarthy was dealing with an ankle injury that really slowed down some of his mobility and an opportunity to get outside the pocket and extend play.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that are kind of shocked that this number is held. And, you know, you'll see a rogue number, Fuhrman, over a 6-7 day period in the regular season, and it really doesn't move much. And you're like, damn, I can't believe it didn't move. But this has been sitting steady for 3 weeks now. And you can't pull a fast one on Vegas. I mean, Michigan is a favorite for a reason.
So that means they're getting the money they want, right? If it's not moving?
That's the way it's setting up right now. I mean, I've spoken to a couple of book directors, and they've told me quite candidly they're happy to set up a position where they're going to need Michigan on game day, because this number opened 2.5. Some books have gotten as low as 1, and every time they get into that minus $1.20 on the money line for Michigan or -1, they're taking money from respected bettors that continues to push the price up. And this is the one thing that people talk about all the time. That's one of the misconceptions in our industry. Books aren't in this business to try and get 50% of the action on one side and 50% on the other, unless you had unlimited critical mass. If you could take $100 million on team A and $100 million on team B in every game, you'd have no problem collecting that 10%, kick your feet up in the risk management office and know that you're going to turn a profit. But what you have to do is you have to allow sophisticated bettors and put yourself in a position where if they're going to win the majority of their bets, and by majority, I mean 54 to 56%, in a game of this magnitude, you're going to want to try and take as much of whatever side you feel is the wrong side. And you could be on, not necessarily find yourself in a great position when that game goes final, but I think books are willing to take that public money from Alabama here and put their eggs in that Michigan basket.
Can you clarify something for me? I was telling Dunaway this last night because he was like, man, I've got to have some serious points at this casino because I was 2-30. And I said, it really doesn't matter. Like, you can go to the blackjack table and you can lose $1,000 and they're probably going to comp you a room and you're going to get a free buffet. You lose $10,000 in a sports book, they don't give you shit.
No, it's a much different dynamic. And having been on the casino operations side and having helped build out some of those reward matrices in terms of what we do for payback, there's a couple different ways that you look at it. And to your point, LT, it's very easy to calculate what we call slot theoretical and slot actual. Those numbers are more or less going to be in line with one another. It's a mathematical algorithm. So the more trials and the more dollars coin in that you put in the slot machines, we're going to have a pretty good idea where that player is going to land. Very similar in table games as well. If you're consistently playing blackjack, for most players that would play at a certain level, I had reports and I could drill down and tell you exactly what we were earning on a per hand basis. That if you guys came in and LT's playing the game optimal strategy, that I'm going to make 0.28 cents on every hand of blackjack that gets dealt. Charles Barkley sits down next to him, and I'm going to make substantially more, given that Charles isn't utilizing the math to his advantage. And so as a result, what we would do is we would put all that into our secret sauce and figure out, okay, here's what we can pay back to LT in terms of comps, food and beverage, rooms, and a lot of the offers that we'll structure as a result. Whereas if somebody's coming in and they're playing high limit slots or they're playing another game, I can put them in the proper bucket that we don't get upside down in terms of reinvesting in your business. That's not profitable to our bottom line. But to your point, LT, sports, I mean, you're getting, a small percentage, unless you're playing a lot of single game parlays in the new era of sports betting, or if you find yourself as a horse racing customer where the pari-mutuel is pretty much a set rate, where these guys behind the counter want you to win because you're going to continue to reinvest and they're making 18 cents on the dollar, whether you win or lose a horse bet.
By the way, I checked my points, 2-30, my Resort World card here. I had 0.
You have to, the other thing to double check, some sports books don't even give you comps and reward credits or whatever they're called at Resorts World for sports betting play.
You'll just get you'll get a drink ticket.
Yeah,
that's it.
They'll go, hey, and they'll give you a nice slap on the ass when you go 2-30 and say, come back soon and we'll see you here.
Yeah, they know they're getting you back.
Yeah, but I mean, Vegas really, you guys created the term "nothing is free in life." Yeah. Like, oh man, I'm getting a free room for the weekend. They've got all my meals.
Yeah. Like my buddy to lose 10 grand. Yeah. My golfing buddy Mike gets comped out here all the time. He comes 4, 5, 6 times a year.
And what's he playing? He's playing table games and playing slots.
He plays the Buffalo, whatever that big Buffalo game.
Blazing Buffaloes.
Yeah, he plays that, and then he plays little craps, and he plays little blackjack, little 3 cards.
And those are the games they know exactly what they're going to get from you long term. And so when we used to look at numbers, and it was always a challenge because we'd go into meetings and I was pretty wet behind the ears when I first started. That's where I got my start, was in table game analytics. It wasn't sports. So we had to design casino floors based on where we thought we could maximize our revenue potential. Did we have enough 3-card poker tables? Did we have enough roulette wheels in certain spots where you can get that foot traffic that's coming through for people that may want to plunk down a $5 or $10 chip before they go to dinner that's burning a hole in their pocket? Or where can I put another big 6 wheel where you hold 50 cents on the dollar for every spin that was out there? And you have what's called actual hold, which is what you take to the bank at the end of the day when you look at how the casino is performed. And you have theoretical hold, which is a calculation based on the mathematical edge that we had at any of the individual tables or slots. The longer a customer sat in that particular seat, knowing full well, if you're going to come back and make 6 trips, you may beat us on one of those trips, but you can't outrun the mathematical edge that we have in those games unless, of course, you're cheating.
Okay, more sports with Fuhrman here as we continue on the conversation. We're at the Doghouse. Our coverage of the Rose Bowl cranks up in L.A., Pasadena with Media Day tomorrow. We'll be on site for that, at least scheduled as of right now at the Rose Bowl. We'll if weather permits. Emily Grace McWhorter will join us, our in-the-field reporter. She's en route. Taylor Corn's in Nashville covering Auburn as they get ready to play Maryland tomorrow. I want to ask you about that game, Fuhrman. But first, LT, Brownie, tell us about our friends at A+.
Yeah, A+ Tile Home Remodeling. Scott is going to show you photos of the master bath, the way it looked when my wife and I bought our house back in 2015. And we didn't like it to begin with, but like so many things in life, you just kind of kick the can down the road, and you don't just dedicate the money to fix it. So finally, Jennifer said, "Hey, we're doing it." So she scours the internet looking for the best contractor, talking to certain contractors, people that had used other contractors, reading reviews, and she picked Brad Bell, A+ Towel Homer and Modeling. I'm glad she did. We just wanted our bathroom more updated, and we wanted darker tones. That's a light bathroom. We wanted darker, and that's exactly why he did. And it looks great, and we love it. Love everything about it. You can use him as well. Master bath, kitchen, master bedroom, closets. I mean, those are the three things you're going to get your money back on when you go to sell your house, and those are the things he is an expert in. 205-422-1758. That is 205-422-1758. Anywhere in Alabama, border to border, coast to mountains, he can help you. He is Brad Bell, A+ Towel Homer Modeling, 205-422-1758. If you missed anything I said there, just reach out to me and I'll get you in touch with Brad.
Auburn, Maryland, Music City Bowl tomorrow. Auburn seems to be settled in on Peyton Thorne being their quarterback of the future. What do you make of this game?
Interesting number. We saw Auburn open as a short favorite in that pick'em to -2 range. Number leaked out to 2.5. And of course, the big storyline that everyone was following here is the availability or lack thereof from Talia Tagovailoa. Once that became public, that number took off and got as high as 7. You started to see a little bit of the value seekers out there grabbing the 7, taking it off of the key number back to 6.5. And it's always tricky to figure out exactly what the value of a starting quarterback is to a number like this. Look, for me, I think the Big Ten, especially the Big Ten East, is a division that was going to be a little bit undervalued coming in because Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State get a lion's share of the attention. And when we look at the dynamics in the SEC, I don't think it's, going out on a limb to say the conference by its own high standards was down this year when you look at the talent level. And I think this is the kind of game that's very interesting from a litmus test standpoint, because you do give Coach Freeze the edge on the sidelines for Auburn. But you have to try and figure out what you're going to get from a Maryland team that would love nothing more than to knock off an SEC foe, build some momentum. And I think on the flip side for Auburn, try and use this as a jumping off point for what some of the more, stringent expectations will be next year, as they've done a little bit better recruiting wise, another year in the system. So for me, I can understand why you're seeing a little bit of Maryland money. I get out ahead of it. I mean, I laid the price with Auburn, took some back at 7. So I'd love nothing more than this game to end Auburn winning by 3, 4, 5, or 6. And I'd be perfectly comfortable with that particular result.
Yeah, Fuhrman, Brown asked me yesterday, this has got to be the highest Orange Bowl number in the history of the Orange Bowl. And I tried to find it. Alabama, though, when we were out there 2018 against Oklahoma, they were 14.5. So I was just saying Oklahoma back in the 80s when they were really dominant, you might have been able to find an Oklahoma team that was more than a 3-touchdown favorite. With that said, I don't know if you know the highest number in an Orange Bowl, but also, I don't know if this number can get high enough. I mean, Kirby Smart came out today and he said, our guys, they had a team meeting. They don't want to go out with that loss to Alabama. They're coming to play. We know Florida State doesn't even have a semblance of a team right now.
Yeah, I mean, Florida State, you look at what they don't have on the offensive side. I think 86% of their touchdown production won't be with the team there. They continue to have opt-outs, and you can understand some of the frustration from the players and the program when you look at where players are transferring to or those that are preparing for the NFL draft at the same time. I mean, this number, to your point, LT, it was a big number to begin with. It's only going to get larger. I don't think you're going to see support for Florida State till you get to 21.5, and that may be people that are overexposed, having laid the 14 with Georgia early on, and go, you know what, this number has jumped the shark a little bit, and we'll see a little bit of buyback opportunity. But what's interesting when you look at a game like this, where the number on the side has moved 6 points, you haven't seen the total budge. Still sitting very close to 44.5. And as ridiculous as it sounds, you begin to wonder if that's going to be Georgia's team total, because I'm not sure where Florida State goes for offense with the current cast of characters they have here. So from a historic context, it is definitely large. I don't want to say it is the biggest, but it will be the biggest number that we see this bowl season. But we did see one bowl game already down in Mobile and South Alabama against what looked like a JV high school team, both their performance on the field and their antics after the game went final. In Eastern Michigan, that thing got away from them quickly. The other game, though, that's got a massive number, much closer to us in the Fiesta Bowl, I wouldn't write Liberty off for dead right now in any capacity. Let's see if Oregon is extremely focused, because you talk about a team who went from the penthouse to the outhouse. They were one game away from playing in the college football playoff, and now the reward is an early kickoff in a city that I don't know if they're going to travel all that well to, against a team in Liberty that can't defend much of anybody, but is going to be fully entrenched for this opportunity right from the opening kickoff.
By the way, all the games, bettheboardpodcast.com, bettheboardpodcast.com, also at Todd Fuhrman on Twitter. He's normally with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline, but he's sitting right here next to me. Do you know in the I guess the 2 deep, the 22, how many Florida State guys are actually out? Do you know the actual number? Because I saw a 2 deep and it was redlined. Now some of those guys are back up at 2 different positions.
So my co-host for the Bet the Board podcast is very close to the Florida State program. He's done a lot of work there with recruiting and talks to a lot of the folks in and around them. And he goes, look, this is not a good headspace for anybody with the players that are there or anybody else. And I think the final straw to all of this is they went in with the expectation that they were at least going to have some stability at quarterback with Tate Rodemaker, and Rodemaker didn't handle his business like a professional, took first team reps. Instead of telling the team, hey, look, I'm not sure I'm going to be a part of this, pulls the ripcord and just takes off. And we all lived through the Brock Glenn experience against Louisville in the ACC title game. And now he doesn't have NFL wide receivers to throw to. So it's going to be a little bit of a delicate proposition. But at last check, I think Florida State was down as many as 15 starters from the regular season finale. Coach Norvell rotates a lot of guys through. And that was one of the things that Florida State did an excellent job of during the regular season, knowing that once they got through some of the more difficult parts of the schedule, he wanted to keep his A group fresh. And you saw what that meant because they played more reps against Louisville, completely shut them down. But there is not a whole heck of a lot to be excited about with all the opt-outs and transfers. So if Georgia is fully engaged from the opening kickoff, I mean, the Bulldogs can really name the final. You just wonder, I mean, look, this is a Georgia program that's won back-to-back national titles before this year. Is this really going to serve as something that they go, hey, look, we went out there and we beat a Florida State bunch of 4th and 5th stringers to call this a successful campaign, knowing what got away from them.
Yeah, I would feel actually better about Georgia minus 20.5 if Florida State was at full tilt. Like if everybody was playing and they were out saying, hey, we're going to win the national championship, we're going to get some AP votes, then I think Georgia would really come to play.
I think it would engage them.
I really do.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Kirby in this game, honestly, don't you try and get everybody involved? I mean, when do you pull your starters? Do you have some unique packages for some of the backups? I mean, there's no reason not to use this as a coachable moment to get as many people involved in this kind of atmosphere, get them reps. They're not going to learn anything about Carson Beck in this particular spot that they don't already know, given what they saw through 12 regular season games and a postseason game that had a hell of a lot more meaning to it than this one was.
Okay. First of all, I apologize for not knowing this. I should have asked. How long are you hanging out with us? You with us?
I mean, I'll roll through as long as you guys will have me. I mean, they already committed me to $18 for parking, whether it's 15 minutes or 45. So
we'll cover that.
I'm sending an invoice back to the home offices for you guys.
Yeah,
and I want to do some NFL with it.
Okay, so we got more on the games today. We'll work that into a 4 downs at some point with Fuhrman here. He's going to hang out with us, and we'll continue the conversation about the games and the NFL that's coming up, college and the NFL. Show being brought to you by some great folks like Dr. B. You can't see LT's hair right now, but Fuhrman, if you ever start to lose that hair,
here's the facts, Fuhrman. I had no idea. Nobody told me. And look, if you've got somebody out there in your life and they're starting to thin out a little bit, let them know about it. Like I'm kind of tall. I'm almost 6'3", and the crown of the head was thinning out. I didn't know it till we started doing this. I would turn to a guest, and I was like, damn, my hair's thinning out. So I started to ask around. Dr. Beckenstein is the name that everybody said you need to go check it out. For more than 20 years, he's helped women and men. I do 3 non-invasive treatments on the couch, 30 minutes each a week. That's all I'm doing. My hair is more than doubled in thickness. T3hair.net for more information. That is T3hair.net.
And our coverage for the Rose Bowl, all of our live shows brought to you by 2 great folks, including the Urology Centers of Alabama. 16 locations, 35 urologists all over the state of Alabama. Guys, it's just a fact of life. You get a little bit older, whether it's prostate, kidney stones, anything in between, you got to stay on top of that stuff. Early detection is so important. Set up an appointment today. At some point in 2024, we just beg you to go get checked out. UrologyCentersAlabama.com, and our friends at Southern Rubber.
Yeah, Southern Rubber Tire, the choice for tires and service in downtown Birmingham. Brian and the guys can handle any of your automotive needs. They carry all major tire brands. Southern Rubber Tire, conveniently located 6th Avenue North near I-65. Check them out online, southernrubbertire.com. Let them know you heard it on the next round.
Back in a moment.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
This hour brought to you by Jack's Western and Outdoor Wear, the perfect place for all your holiday shopping. We are easy to find just off of I-65, exit 304 in Coleman. Just look for the big red building.
Hey, Ryan Brown here from The Next Round. Do you want to help pay for my kids' college and look great while you're doing it? You need to go to The Next Round store. Everything from hats to short sleeve and long sleeve t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, zip-up hoodies, and much more. And we're adding new things all the time. Why would you not want to see my kids get a great college education and look great out in the public while you're doing it? Get the gear we wear all the time on the show, and there's only one place to get it. nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations, but we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, brombergs.com.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Make sure to start your day at nextroundlive.com. Get caught up on the latest podcasts and videos from the live daily show, plus specialty shows such as the Mystery Fifth Hour. You can also learn more about the whole staff at Double Down Media, find all of our social media feeds, see the latest videos from our YouTube channel and gaming channel, plus find other ways to consume the show like the Next Round mobile app, which you can download direct from the site via your iOS and Android device. Make nextroundlive.com your homepage and stay up to date with everything from us here at the Next Round.
Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? It's too bad you can't taste it with your ears because this Coke Zero Sugar is really amazing. You'll have to take a taste for yourself. Coke Zero Sugar. Best Coke ever?
Southern Rubber Tire is the choice for tires and service in downtown Birmingham. Bryant, the guys can handle any of your automotive needs and carry all major tire brands. From brakes to alignments to oil changes and more, no job too big or too small. Southern Rubber and Tire, conveniently located on 6th Avenue North near I-65. You can check them out online today. Go to southernrubbertire.com. Let them know you heard it from The Next Round before you get on the road in 2024. Head into Southern Rubber Tire.
Back with you from the doghouse as we get ready to enjoy some of the cocktails here at this wonderful sports book and sports bar at the Resort World. Nice to host us at the front end of our journey to the Rose Bowl and on the back side as well.
Whose is that?
That's mine.
I applaud you guys doing things the right way, getting after it. But I'm a little disappointed. LT, being a Vegas veteran, hasn't exposed Brownie to some of the finer sites here in the adult establishments and all that to say you have the quintessential full 360 Vegas experience. So maybe on the back end of the trip.
I'm good. Herman, I have, and people would be shocked, I have probably been to Vegas, I don't know, 25, 30 times. And I have never been to a strip club in Vegas.
You have to go at least once more for the novelty than anything else. You get there, you look around, and you go, this is completely ridiculous. And I don't know what's going on. I mean, it's not the same as if you're 21 and it's the first time you're exposed to that kind of environment. You just begin to look around. You go, man, I'm really creepy if I'm here at 4 a.m. on a Saturday with a couple of the buddies. I go, I need to get the hell out of here. I became that old guy that I used to point at and make fun of back in the day.
My
and such.
3 favorite things about Vegas are the restaurants.
Yep.
The sports books and the pools.
I mean, the pools have gotten better, and I will give Vegas credit. When they tried to figure out other ways to provide different entertainment means, the pools became a focal point. So when you look at the new casinos that are being built, Resorts World, Fontainebleau that just opened up, I haven't had a chance to walk through. The pools give you an element that you can't necessarily find everywhere else. And so then it became the day clubs in and around the pools, the same sort of thing. And I can't tell you how many times buddies have come out for bachelor parties or weekends, guys, girls, what have you. And the day clubs end up causing more problems than anything else.
Oh,
because you're out there in the heat of the day, you're drinking like you're in a nightclub, but you throw in the element of it being 113 degrees, mix in a water from time to time, it's going to be able to pay some dividends.
Oh,
to
and
be
you
able
think
to make
about
it work.
how many guys don't make it out? Like, we had a big party out here. We had a cabana, and we were at Bear over at the Mirage.
Okay.
And, of course, a couple of my buddies are like, hey, let's invite these girls to go to dinner tonight. This is years and years ago. And they drink so much, they don't show up at dinner. The girls show up at dinner.
And your buddies that invited them didn't?
Yeah, so I'm on the hook for all these girls.
Now, did they bolt once dinner was over? Or did you hang out with them after dinner was over and they basically became your social group for the next handful of hours?
Wow.
Oh, well, no.
Herman doing a 30 for 30.
Yeah, now all of a sudden I painted LT in a corner and he's going to go, well, I had to pay for their company. And then we get into another Pandora's box.
No, this is true. We went to is Bellagio have light?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did. They don't have it anymore.
So look,
you're dating yourself right now.
Okay, these girls. Well, I told you it was years ago.
It's okay. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I was there for light as well. So
these girls knew what they were doing. They were working it. So yeah, they were like, "Hey, look, let's go out." And I was like, "What the hell?" So we end up going out. We go to light. And, of course, they know everybody there. Hey, let's get a table.
Number continues to grow.
You know what? They saw an easy mark. Early in the day, they were in it for the long con. Exactly. Start reeling them in little by little to be able to make it all work. But, funny story about that. When I first came out here, I really didn't know anybody. So I moved out here to work in planning analysis for Caesars Entertainment. So they put you through this orientation program, aptitude tests, and everything else. So I'm looking around the room, and you have the suits that are there with cocktail waitresses, with some of the staff that's there for seasonal help for the pool. So you get a wide cast of characters. And I can only give you so much of a hard time because I must have had the, L7 look on my forehead as well. Because one of the girls was a cocktail waitress. Oh, you're new here. Like, why don't, we go out for a couple of drinks and I'll show you around. She goes, I really like this restaurant called the Eiffel Tower. You know what? What's the big deal? Like, how much is it really going to cost me? We go to the Eiffel Tower. I mean, I think I took a job for, right around $40,000. I'm paying back student loans. I'm renting a room in a house, trying to make ends meet. I think dinner that night cost $660. And I'm going, how the hell am I going to pay for this? Little to say, she didn't get a call back. I learned my lesson, and I'm glad it happened then, and it wasn't even more expensive. The sad part is what's going on now, though, is you'll see a lot of people as they look for some of the opportunities, they'll watch you for 2 or 3 hours. They see people that are falling down. They'll follow to you the room. You don't close your door at the end of the night, and it becomes a concerted effort to clean out a safe or to be able to pick people's pockets.
Wow.
And you have to be so cognizant of your surroundings. And it's terrible to say because I love this city. It's given me every opportunity that I've had professionally. But for folks that are making their first trip out there, and I know you guys have a lot of folks that'll turn 21 or in their early 20s, just make sure you're always aware of your surroundings. Because if you get yourself in a compromised position, guys or girls, you're going to end up with a lot less money than you started.
It is some of the best grifters in the world out here. I lost a watch off my wrist.
Really?
Like somebody just snatched it?
Yeah.
That's an impressive endeavor.
It really is.
And it was one of those nights we were out on the strip. There were a ton of people, the outside bars in and out. And the next thing I know, watch is gone.
Wow. That's crazy. Hey, we remind you, whether you're drinking like we are right now.
By the way, best Bloody Mary I think I've ever had.
Ever.
Bloody Mary guy. It is fantastic.
Best orange juice and Redmond vodka I've ever had. We brought some Redmond vodka with us.
Cindy with an E, by the way, is our bartender.
Cindy with an E? I've never met Cindy with an E.
I've never seen it spelled that way.
Cindy with an E?
She's from Vegas. I mean, we could maybe say that the parents were maybe a little hammered when she they had to sign the
you have to be careful with those judgments. I mean, there's a good chance her parents are casino executives, and you guys might get escorted out of it.
That's right, Lance.
Hey, friends of the family, you don't know exactly.
How about Cindy Sindee? That would be a good name,
like
too.
Sin City.
She's working at the Spearmint.
She's just getting off of work right now.
Whenever you're drinking, we always remind you can't drive drunk if you don't drive there, right? DecideToRide.com, DecideToRide.com from our friends at Anheuser-Busch, Adams Beverage, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and, of course, all of us here at the Next Round. Be a responsible drinker always, and decide to ride. You can't drive drunk if you don't drive there. This holiday season, especially coming up this part of the year around New Year's Eve, a lot of amateurs are out there. Make sure you're the pro. DecideToRide.com, DecideToRide.com. Thank you to Anheuser-Busch and Adams Beverage, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, for kicking in and reminding everybody to decide to ride. Last night, Joe Flacco did it again, over 300 yards, even without Amari Cooper this time. Browns win. Browns are 11-5. Browns are in the playoffs again. and all of a sudden they're a dangerous-looking football team.
Look, it's a team right now that I wouldn't want to play. And I think when you look at the Browns, I know a lot of the talk on the broadcast last night and even leading up to it was, what do the Browns have to do to get the dominoes to fall the right way for them to be the number 1 seed in the AFC? That's extremely unlikely, but the way things look right now, if the Ravens end up taking care of business against your beloved Dolphins on Sunday, the Browns get locked into the 5 seed. And what does that mean for the Browns? Potential chance to rest in the regular season finale. And it sets up a road trip to whoever comes out of that muddled mess that is the AFC South. And if you're the Jags, as currently constructed, you're the Indianapolis Colts, you're the Houston Texans, I'm not sure you want to see that Cleveland team coming into your building. You look at the futures prices now, I think Cleveland's some of the best value on the board. Do I think they come out of the AFC? Probably not. The Cinderella story with Joe Flacco comes to an end. But you could do a lot worse than taking a flyer on this team at 35-1 or thereabouts to win the conference, 50-1 to win the Super Bowl. While everyone wants to talk about the Bills, this is a team that's built to win on the road with defense. The passing attack has looked electric, and if they can get a little bit healthier on the offensive line and they can show some balance, I sure wouldn't want to see Kevin Stefanski and company coming into my building for a meaningful football game in January.
Dan Orlovsky will join us at the top of the hour. And I saw him on one of the talk shows this morning, and he said, I can't believe we're to the point where I'd rather play the Chiefs than the Browns in the postseason.
I mean, look, the Chiefs defensively, not quite on the same level as Cleveland, but at least Cleveland has an offensive identity.
Yeah.
I think we keep waiting for the Chiefs to wave that magic wand and figure out if this passing attack is going to get going. But there are concerns along that offensive line that haven't exactly been sorted out. We know that Travis Kelce has been a shell of himself. We'll see if he can turn it on as early as this week against the Bengals defense that struggled against the tight end. But other than Rashee Rice, who scares you? I mean, the route running that we saw against the Raiders was downright horrific. And I think the AFC has a number of teams that are capable of getting out, but it looks to be a lot deeper as a conference than we probably thought coming into the year, where there were most likely 2 or 3 teams that, at least on paper, should have been a cut above.
You know, the Rams were fortunate. They got Flacco in that first start in SoFi, and they were able to win that game, ultimately going away. But the way he's playing, and I faded him yesterday, and Trevor Siemian, I'm not a big fan, but I was like, 7.5 points. I'm going to take it here. Flacco at 39 years old cannot continue to play at this level. I know the defense is good. I know they're great up front. But I am shocked that he's playing. And Kevin Stefanski, you were talking about Shiano's a great coach. Stefanski, say what you want. That guy, hands down, NFL Coach of the Year.
And he's moved to a massive favorite over the last couple of weeks. I mean, Dan Campbell was the favorite for a majority of the season, and rightfully so, with a franchise that hadn't won a division since 1993. But what Stefanski has done now, taking a team to the playoffs on their 4th quarterback, those guys have been in multiple starts, accomplishing NFL history. I think at last check, he was right around a $3 favorite for Coach of the Year. You've seen Myles Garrett move into an odds-on favorite role for Defensive Player of the Year. And the more remarkable story when we talk about Joe Flacco, no one knows how you're supposed to measure the criteria for a comeback player of the year. But Joe Flacco, before he started against the Rams, was 150-1. He is now the 2nd favorite on the board, right around even money at some books, behind only Damar Hamlin. And it begs the question, is coming back from a near-death experience, in the case of Damar Hamlin, more valuable than a
What do you think Damar Hamlin's got a tackle? What about Baker Mayfield?
I think it's more the story than anything else.
Oh.
Joe Flacco, who came in off the couch eating popcorn with his family, throwing to his dad 50 and 60 yards downfield. So the Browns have found something special. And I think one of the more underrated parts of last night's game was the interaction between C.J. Mosley and Joe Flacco, where Mosley kind of asked him, did you ever imagine that the Browns fans would be chanting your name when we were playing football together in Baltimore?
Hey, do you I mean, Damar Hamlin's really your favorite?
I mean, he's not my favorite.
I mean, he died on the field.
He did die on the field, LT.
Well, he's got to be able to do something as a comeback player.
He's playing in the NFL.
He came back from death. I'm not sure what else you could come back from to be out there to do it.
God, the
But
NFL does some hokey-ass stuff. As much as I love the NFL, the top model in sports, that's hokey. Baker Mayfield, your guy has got to be the comeback player.
My guy.
Baker's going to land himself a nice, multi-year deal.
Yeah, it's not always franchise going to screw this up.
That's the quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
But he's playing elite football.
Yes, he's done an outstanding job.
Can they win this weekend?
They can. The betting market says they probably won't.
Yeah, I like the Saints.
I'll give LT credit for jumping on the Saints. It's not a dog that I want a part of. I know the Saints took a little bit of sharp money against his Rams last week. Saints are a bad football team right now, and I have some legitimate concerns about that. I am the one thing that would bother me a little bit about backing Tampa in this spot. You look at the 2 secondaries that they faced over the last 2 weeks. This will be a step up, even without Marshawn Lattimore returning. But a fascinating game because those threes got cleared out. I mean, people couldn't bet the Saints fast enough to try and get a piece of Tampa. But Todd Bowles and Baker Mayfield, two players that I think we were ready to discard with yesterday's trash, have done more than anyone anticipated this year. And the craziest part about it, they have a legitimate shot to finish with a better record this year with Baker Mayfield than they did last year with Tom Brady.
Please, it's Tampa Bay. Don't just say Tampa. It's Tampa
Wow.
Bay. You never call it green.
You want me to call it I'll just call them the Bucks then and make it
Bucks.
feel
Hey,
better.
so
Duty.
I did.
Is the city of Tampa, though?
It is.
Tampa Bay is the body of water.
Yeah, I know.
It's technically the city of Tampa.
There is no Tampa Bay.
Yes.
You know, last week
City.
I was telling people the Saints haven't beaten anybody. Their quality win, if you call it that, was against Indianapolis. And when you look at Tampa right now, it was impressive what they did to Jacksonville. Something is wrong right now with Trevor Lawrence. There's no doubt about it.
It's the shoulder.
But
I mean, he said.
outside of that,
the ankle.
you guys have beaten Carolina, Atlanta, and Green Bay. So not great wins.
Green Bay at the time was playing well at Lambeau.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't take anything away from the dominant performance last week against Jacksonville.
Yeah. I was more impressed with what they did at Lambeau against Green Bay than I was against Jacksonville. That was just me because I thought they played really, really well there. Little NFL conversation there. Good for you Browns fans. There's a lot of them in Birmingham, a lot of them in every city in America, and you guys celebrate. You're in the playoffs again, and you got a chance to do something special. Our friends at Hemp Hill taking care of you. We appreciate them so much. They've been with us all year since we started this, and they're just great folks.
Since 1954, the name that Birmingham has trusted for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Call Adam, Chad, and Andrew, the guys at Hemp Hill Services, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com. It is hard to stop a train.
When we come back, Fuhrman, I want you to hear from Isaiah Bond, Alabama's great receiver, who caught the 4th and 31. He was talking about the Michigan scouting and signal stealing scandal this year. And I want to get your take on how it plays into whether it's realistic or mentally what's going on, because Alabama's taken some steps that are unique going into this game as well off of that, and just how it all plays into the Rose Bowl coming up. We'll get into that coming up on the next segment as we continue on here. And the show being brought to you as well by our friends at Coca-Cola. Coke Zero Sugar. Is it the best Coke ever? Try it for yourself in 2024. And again, support our friends at the Community Food Bank of Central Alabama. Piggly Wiggly and Coca-Cola teamed up for that as we started feeding people this holiday season. Those in need with some prepackaged meals, you can still donate. You can find out where your local Piggly Wiggly is by going to mypigglywiggly.com, mypigglywiggly.com, and check that out. Coca-Cola delivering the magic with our friends at Piggly Wiggly this holiday season. We're back from the Doghouse in Las Vegas at Resort World on our way to Pasadena. This is the next round.
Follow Rockstar on Twitter at RockstarBHM.
This hour brought to you by Jack's Western and Outdoor Wear, the perfect place for all your holiday shopping. We are easy to find just off of I-65, exit 304 in Coleman. Just look for the big red building.
This holiday season, help feed families in need by donating at your local Piggly Wiggly. With your donation, Piggly Wiggly and Coca-Cola will provide free packaged holiday meals through the Community Food Bank of Central Alabama. Look to make your donations of $1, $5, or $10 at the register inside your local Piggly Wiggly. Visit thepigbeham.com or mypigglywiggly.com for the location nearest you. Enjoy the real magic of the season.
The Double Down Media podcast family is live and full of content for all ages. The Mystery Fifth Hour gives the Next Round hosts a chance to talk about everything but sports. Pour a glass of Bama and bourbon, our weekly college football conversation, while sipping some of the most interesting pours in the bourbon world. And our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, presented by Redmont Vodka. LT has in-depth conversations with personalities like Clay Travis and Taylor Hicks. Find those podcasts and more by searching The Next Round on Apple and Spotify. And remember to like and subscribe.
Hey, if you're looking for Birmingham's best pizza, you need to stop in and see our friends at Slice Pizza and Brew. It's as local as you can get, from the ingredients that go into every pizza to the beer on tap. For a great lunch or dinner, go see our friends today, Vestavia or Lakeview at Slice. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Stop unwanted guests. Save $50 from our friends at Wayne's right now. Call 866-WAYNES1 this holiday season. Give the gift of peace and security to your home and family with a $50 off recurring Wayne's Pest Control services. Keep your celebrations joyful and free of unwanted critters this holiday and beyond. At Wayne's Pest Control, we don't just promise short-term fixes. We promise year-round protection for your home, keeping your family, children, and pets safe. Again, call 866-WAYNES1 today. That's 866-WAYNES1.
The Double Down Media podcast family is live and full of content for all ages. The Mystery Fifth Hour gives the Next Round host a chance to talk about everything but sports. Pour a glass of Bama and bourbon, our weekly college football conversation while sipping some of the most interesting pours in the bourbon world. And our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call. LT takes off the gloves for an in-depth conversation with stars like Taylor Hicks, presented by Redmond Vodka. Find those podcasts and more by searching The Next Round on Apple, Spotify, and on our website, nextroundlive.com.
Las Vegas, Nevada. We're live with you. We fly this afternoon. LT and I don't even know.
I don't even know what time.
We don't even know what time our flight is.
Hey, the good thing is you guys are only going to Southern California, so there's flights on Southwest about every 90 minutes. And worst case scenario, if you guys get on a heater at the tables, you can always rent a car. It's a quick 4.5 hour trip there. So it's not like you guys are going across the country.
Yeah, 2:10 is when we leave for LAX.
All right.
So 2:10.
We got some time to put some nutrition in us at
That's
some
right.
point.
We'll have some time to kill, huh?
Wait, so we fly out at 2:10?
2:10 from Vegas.
Okay, so we got a couple hours before we need to be at the airport. That is Todd Fuhrman over there. Ryan Brown's the invisible guy who dressed just like our couch today.
Hey, you blended right in. I mean, if you don't,
look at the shot. I'm just a floating head.
Who needs a green screen when Brownie's going to try and blend right in the way things look?
Lance Taylor, Jim Dunaway with you live at the Doghouse at Resort World. When you're out here in Las Vegas, there's a lot of great places to come and play at the sports book or to eat great food or go to a casino. We recommend the great folks here at Resort World. And then this big package right here is Kicking It Coolers. And we fell in love with these guys back in the summertime, and man, just great folks.
Yeah, I mean, Richard Holland had the opportunity to meet him December of 22.
I love that.
We've become really good friends and just a great product. Have you seen this, Fuhrman?
No, what is it?
So it's Kicking It Coolers. Basically, it's got vodka in it. It's a Capri Sun for adults.
Yeah. Basically, they should have called it Kicking Your Ass.
Can I put it? Can I put it in the freezer? Or do I just put it in the fridge? I mean,
No, you could put it in the freezer. Yeah,
Okay.
we've actually done that. Cut the top off with scissors. You can eat it with a spoon.
Yeah, but this is perfect. Like, think about this: at the pool or taking it down to the beach. You don't want to. If you got kids, you want to make sure they're separate.
That's what I was going to say would be my biggest fear.
Yeah.
If I had little ones in the house and I have those in the fridge, suddenly they're sipping on one of those, and I go, "Okay, this is not for anybody involved."
Yep. There is a disclaimer on here.
Yeah,
I think.
But the 4-year-old can't read that, so you need to make sure.
Well, LT can't read it after a couple of these.
Hey, they will sneak up on you, but they're delicious. They're adult beverage, perfect for the lake, the pool, or whatever. It's our friends at Kicking It Cooler. Rockstar, I need cut number 1 here. Brown and Fuhrman are going to give us some hot takes here on how this Michigan sign stealing scandal blends into the semifinals, whether it's realistic or whether it's mental. Isaiah Bond had a chance to talk yesterday, and he had some comments about the sign stealing. So this is Isaiah Bond right now here on the Next Round.
How much did you pay attention to all the sign stealing saga that Michigan had to deal with all year and the impact it had on college football and maybe their team?
I mean, yeah, the sign stealing. I heard about it. I really paid too much attention to it. I mean, obviously, that's in the past. I mean, we obviously the catapult system that I guess they was taking signs from was they made it down anyways for the playoffs because of that. So honestly, I mean, when we get on the field, they're gonna have to play us anyways. So all that sign stealing is not gonna help them. It's basically like the app we record film on for practice and stuff like that, and they was like, I guess like looking at other people's like play calls and like their hand signals like the first 8 games or something like that. So we wasn't able to we was able to watch film with the team, but like personally we can't watch film because like I don't know, some reason with Michigan stealing signs, but I'm not really too keyed in on that.
Your coaches told you that?
Yeah, our coach told us that probably like a week ago, before we was right before we about to come here, like getting prepared for Michigan.
So like on your individual tablets that you would normally be watching.
Yeah.
Right now, you guys are not watching film.
Yeah, we're not allowed to.
That's where somebody in Tuscaloosa or somebody with the Alabama traveling party is like, all right, remind all the guys, let's don't bring that up. Yeah.
Wow, this is like roll it up, Russ. You know, you're like
roll them up.
The bad part of the neighborhood. Like they're never going to live this down. I think this is a little extreme. They're not going to steal a tablet, are they?
Let Brown explain it because the Alabama folks feel like there was some exposure on the individual tablets if the players were taking it home using the catapult system.
Yeah, and a lot of people are like, come on, guys. Now, Michigan's not going to hack these iPads. I want to credit, gosh, I can't say his name right now. He covers David Hill, ESPN, who made the point, I think it was David that made the point on Twitter, is you got to remember it only takes one disgruntled parent of a kid that's not getting enough playing time to know that Michigan is a team I could share this information with, and they'll probably gladly take it.
Right. And all you have to do, at catapult.com, password Saban goat.
Oh, they would be hung.
Oh, they would be. They would be, but you don't think through that when you're a disgruntled parent. Now, I don't think that that's the only thing. I think this is just an over
Here's my question that I have with all of this. If Alabama players are talking about this now and the game doesn't start the way they go, does it start to seep into your head that Michigan's one step ahead and that they somehow know the play calls before they're coming?
That's a great
point.
point.
That may not actually be the case at all. And you start human nature, you build in, Michigan knows what's coming and we can't run this play. And that's why it's been stacked up instead of Michigan maybe having their athletes in space or being able to read some of the cues that are going on there. I almost think this works against you because you want to go out there, read and react.
I agree.
You don't want to have this seed planted in the back of your head. And for Bond to be addressing this in a press conference, this is so un-Nick Saban-like for what we've grown accustomed to from his teams. It's a fascinating storyline to follow.
Exterior
and it adds
factor.
something else. It's that rat poison that Nick's talked about for so many years.
Yeah, I thought it was weird. I thought it was weird when I saw Bond. Well, first of all, I thought it was weird that Bond was so open about it. Like, I really do think probably Nick Saban had rather that not have been discussed.
Yeah, we've got a mutual friend that probably put his hands in his face when he saw Bond commenting.
Well, I mean, you just can't prepare these guys for every single question, right?
No,
I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
You go, hey, look, here are the 4 bullet points. If any
Yeah.
of these come up, do not address them in any capacity. But
I'm sure as Isaiah
always
Bond
tough.
is sitting there going through that, they're like, boy, we should have addressed this one. This might should have been on the top of the list here.
for everything they do for bowl prep, I mean, everything is nailed down and they know exactly what things are going to look like. For that one to potentially slip through the cracks, it is interesting knowing how Alabama has been, you know, in terms of preparing these kids for a game of this magnitude.
You know what's going to be interesting if Michigan does go on, and they are still your favorite to win the national championship. If they were to win this, will they be viewed like the Houston Astros? Like, I watched that 2018 World Series, and it was an incredible 7-game series, but they had the signs throughout that series.
And boy, you're hard on them still to this day.
Yeah.
You're hard on that team.
And I just wonder if college football fans are going to be hard on Michigan. Like, I don't think Michigan's cheating right now.
Well, I mean,
but their offense also hasn't looked nearly as explosive since this story broke. When you look at some of the numbers there, so where there's smoke, is there a little bit of fire, and some potential merits to this? It's also not coincidence that Jim Harbaugh hasn't signed that long-term deal. Does he try and win the national championship in Ann Arbor and go, I want to wash my hands of all of this scandal, I'm going to go to the NFL to try and be able to set that up? So.
The timing was weird because this story broke right as they were playing the only good teams on their schedule.
Yep.
Maryland and Ohio State, and it's a stretch to call Maryland a good team, but on their schedule
and Iowa.
And Iowa at the end. So
the number's going to change anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it was the toughest part of their schedule.
For sure, and it coincided with an injury to J.J. McCarthy. I mean, you can throw past the entire second half against Penn State, and you can say what you want about game plan and this, that, and the other, but it had a lot to do with his lower body and the severity of that ankle injury. So you never know if it's a true relationship, causation, causality, whatever, terminology that they use to set it up, but still fun to talk about. And we know that there is no sport out there that is more petty than college football. So why not just add this extra layer to
Give me a 60-second answer here. Dan Orlovsky talking NFL with all of us coming up at the top of the hour here. J.J. McCarthy's health, where do you think he'll be for this game?
I think he's 90 to 95%. The fact that he wouldn't mention what was going on with that ankle injury, and they've been pretty mums in terms of what's gone on for treatment. We got wind that their goal going into the Maryland game, that there was talk of sitting J.J. McCarthy for that game and allowing him a chance to heal up. The problem for Michigan, they never built a comfortable enough lead, and J.J. had to go out there, and you knew he wasn't going to sit against Ohio State. You knew he wasn't going to sit in the conference championship game. But I think we're going to see J.J. McCarthy's mobility play a different role. And if I'm Michigan and I'm building a game plan, the number one game I'm looking at, can J.J. McCarthy do some of the same things offensively that Peyton Thorne did in the Iron Bowl? Because Alabama gave up more than 7 yards per carry there. Auburn was able to get outside the tackles, neutralize that tremendous pass rush, and it takes some of the emphasis off a Michigan receiving room that I don't think has an edge against Alabama's cover corner.
I would counter saying, can Michigan turn the Rose Bowl into Jordan-Hare Stadium? And they'll have the most fans. They'll have the most fans, but they cannot turn that into a house of horrors.
They won't, but I'll also go one step further that I think Alabama fans haven't wanted to address. This will be the best defense that Alabama will face all year. They're better on paper for me than Georgia, and I still believe that Georgia handcuffed themselves in that SEC championship game thinking they could run the football, but they laid a blueprint down by having multiple spies on Jaylen Milroe, force Milroe to beat you with his arm, and if Michigan does that, I think Michigan puts themselves in an excellent chance to go on to the national title.
And listen, you know more than I do when it comes to winning bets. I'm sitting here in a place where I went 2 of 30. But Milroe is better at running the football in a pass play, right? So so if you're forcing him to throw the ball, now you've got him in prime running position.
No doubt about it, but I think Michigan's got to be great with their rush lane integrity. You can't let him break outside, and we've seen Milroe get more and more explosive. His legs have been a bigger part, and it's no coincidence in higher leverage games. But I'm very interested to see what Michigan does to try and use multiple spies, because Alabama fans know that this receiving room ain't the same receiving room that torched this Michigan secondary a couple of years ago with first-round NFL caliber wideouts.
You're that close to seeing my Alabama tattoo. We'll, we will talk.
I know it's not in his hamstring because he won't be able to stretch it out for us.
It's a lowercase a if it's on my hamstring. We'll talk to Dan Orlovsky about the NFL and get back in our 4 downs to everything going on with the Rose Bowl and a lot more. LT's Got Trash. The show being brought to you by our friends at Wayne's Pest Control. 50 years of service. We've celebrated it all of 2023. Congratulations to the fine folks at Wayne's. They still want to give you $50 off all their reoccurring charges. That's pest control. That's termite protection. That's lawn care service. It's mosquito protection. You can get all of that in 2024 by going to callwaynes.com. Callwaynes.com or literally calling them up at 866-WAYNES-1, 866-WAYNES-1. Congratulations, Wayne's, on 50 great years. Go to callwaynes.com. We talk to Orlovsky next, live from Vegas, right here on The Next Round.
Tyler Watts and Jim Dunaway on All Things Alabama. Watch Talk of Champions at Roll Tide Pods on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
It's time to start thinking about employee holiday gifts. Consider getting your hardworking guys a pair of Red Wing boots. Each day, your employees are on the job site helping your company succeed, so reward them with comfort at its best. The Red Wing mobile shoe truck can visit your shop and fit your employees with a great selection of boots. Or Red Wing gift cards can be purchased at your local Red Wing store, available in all amounts. Whichever program you choose, your employees will appreciate the quality, service, and selection from Red Wing shoes, and they'll also be thankful they have such a great boss. Reward your employees this holiday season with Red Wing shoes.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Southern Rubber Tire, your choice for tires and service in downtown Birmingham. Bryant and the guys can handle any of your automotive needs. They carry all major tire brands. Southern Rubber, conveniently located 6th Avenue North near I-65. Check them out online, southernrubbertire.com, and let them know you heard it on The Next Round.
There are so many things I love about walk-ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 and Hoover with walk-ons. The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonale offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonale leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonale. This holiday season, help feed families in need by donating at your local Piggly Wiggly. With your donation, Piggly Wiggly and Coca-Cola will provide free packaged holiday meals through the Community Food Bank of Central Alabama. Look to make your donations of $1, $5, or $10 at the register inside your local Piggly Wiggly. Visit thepigbham.com or mypigglywiggly.com for the location nearest you. Enjoy the real magic of the season.
You want to look great while supporting your favorite show? You know the place to go is the official Next Round store at nextround.store. Yes, there are .store domains, and we have one. From shirts to hoodies to hats and all kinds of fun stuff, you can rep the Next Round anywhere you go. At the beach, Next Round hats to block out that sun. Up north in the winter, get you a comfy Next Round hoodie. Just need something to put your $20 beer in at a game? Get you a Next Round koozie and throw that thing in your pocket. You never know what stuff Jim's going to make me put in there next. Check it out. It's the Next Round store at nextround.store.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Hey, welcome back to our living room here in Las Vegas. This is the Doghouse. Ironically, we're on our way to the 14 playoffs without the Dogs. They're not in it this year. Georgia plays a little bit later on this weekend against Florida State. But we got football kicking off here at the Sportsbook. Clemson and Kentucky about to play the first game of the day. It's amazing out here in Vegas, 9 a.m. and you got live football.
Yeah, how do you guys feel about breakfast football? It's one thing I love having lived out here on the West Coast.
I don't like it. You know, I booked for about 10 years in college. I wasn't in college 10 years, but I was there long enough.
A lot of people go to college for 10 years. They're called doctors, don't they?
And I always made the joke, I can't imagine, because after a rough Friday night, getting up for 11 o'clock games, we would open shop at 9 a.m. And if you were not only a West Coast bookmaker, but imagine being one in Hawaii.
I mean, there's the crack of dawn. You know, that's why everybody's chasing on the Hawaii game last thing at night.
I don't like Pacific time. The games end too early. They start too early.
There are stock people that have to deal with the Japanese market too, man. Come on. That's the way it works in the real world. This hour of the show brought to you by Champy's world famous fried chicken. Listen, if Champy's Chicken was in Las Vegas, I'd eat it today because I'm hungry. If you have the opportunity to be on 119 in Alabaster today, swing by and check out Sterling and his crew. Champy's world famous fried chicken. They cook it to order. They brine it overnight. It is piping hot when it comes out. It's fantastic. Hand-cut chicken fingers and the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. It is fantastic. Brownie will let me know when Dan Orlovsky is up.
He's there,
He's up
man.
now?
Let's go.
Well,
Yeah.
let's talk football with Orlovsky then.
We're at the Doghouse in Vegas. Todd Fuhrman, BetTheBoardPodcast.com is with us here. Dan, how are you today? Everything going well?
I'm doing great. You guys talking about chicken got me obviously incredibly hungry, but hopefully I can get something to bite to eat soon.
Well, I heard you one day talking about Chipotle, and I think you
Dude, I love Chipotle. I had it last night.
Chipotle. Yeah, but I mean, you've got one of the weirdest dish. I mean, I know it's all protein for you, but you don't put the guts. You don't put any cheese on it. No guac.
No, I go cheese. Okay. I go cheese. I just go double chicken and cheese with a little bit of brown rice. I don't like the guac at Chipotle because the red onions are too much.
Okay.
All right, there you go.
That's what my wife is. Same thing.
But you did say, I hope what is one of the more intelligent things you've ever said earlier today when you said the biggest threat, because I believe it is a shoo-in. I know our lasting impression on San Francisco was Brock Purdy throwing 4 picks, but I still think they're head and shoulders above everybody else. But I did hear you say their biggest threat in the NFC is?
The Los Angeles Rams. And I've felt that way for probably the last 4 or 5 weeks when it comes to if you're just watching how the Rams are playing. The reason is this, okay? Number one, I don't think anybody in the NFC is equipped to slow down or stop San Francisco's offense. I didn't think that way about the NFL, obviously, until I saw what Baltimore did. Hats off to them. But no one in the NFC has a defense like Baltimore's when it comes to the complete aspect of it. So I think you got to go outscore San Francisco. And if we're just being just transparent and honest, when Matthew, Kyron Williams, Puka, and Cooper are on the same field, that's the best offense in football, both on numbers and by tape. So it's remarkable to watch them. And I think that they're equipped to go score against San Francisco. I think it's going to be fascinating because if I'm right, I could be wrong in this, but if I'm right, if Dallas beats Detroit and San Francisco wins this weekend, I think San Francisco locks the 1 seed up. That means on week 18, they would have to make a decision. Do they play against the Rams and say, you know what, we're going to rest people and get ready for the playoffs? Or do they play and say, dear God, we don't want to see Matthew Stafford in the playoffs. We're going to keep him out. That will be fascinating to watch.
Amazing here at the Doghouse at Resort World in Vegas. One of the screens over here is about 30 feet tall. So we got 30 feet tall Dan Orlovsky earlier talking about the Browns last night. How good is the Browns?
Yeah. That's not good for my ears and nose. I know that scale.
Oh, they rolled in about 10 feet. Yeah.
The Browns could beat anybody in the AFC. Maybe outside of like Baltimore, you don't feel great about it. But when it comes to Cleveland, a couple of things. Their defense will keep them in every single game. The defense, the back seven specifically, arguably the best back seven in football. And then obviously Miles at the defensive player of the year candidate, defensive end. So their defense will keep them in every game. And I think offensively what we're seeing is, one, a quarterback that is physically talented. Joe has always been physically talented. Two, he loves this offense. This is the offense that he had with Gary Kubiak in Baltimore when he played pretty good football. And three, a guy who doesn't care about consequences. Like Joe is just sitting there going, I'm just going to make a bunch of like aggressive throws because I'm not even supposed to be here. And if I do, my defense is so good, they'll probably make something, like make it out to be nothing. So I think that the way that Stefanski has handled the whole situation as locked up coach of the year for him, and just the complete part of the team, like they can go beat anybody in the AFC.
Dan, how difficult is it, the job that Kevin Stefanski has had, working with 4 quarterbacks now that have all had multiple starts with very unique skill sets, to be able to mold and adapt the offense with personnel on a week-in, week-out basis? Does that give them a competitive advantage against other teams in the AFC? Or is it something that, very few coaches in the league go, look, we're going to cater this to our personnel, and we know DTR is not going to lead an offense the same way that Joe Flacco has, and he's passed every test with flying colors over the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, it's been remarkable, and it's why I've heard people in Cleveland not like Kevin Stefanski over the past couple of years. I've never understood. I think they're such a well-coached football team. I think it's most fascinating what he's done with Joe because, with Deshaun, he was trying to figure out, I think, the offense that he runs is from the Mike Shanahan, Gary Kubiak tree. It's always an offense that has propped up quarterbacks to be better than maybe their physical talent had allowed them to be. But Deshaun is so physically talented. You're like, all right, well, do I want to change the offense a little bit to allow that physical talent to kind of shine a little bit more? Because the offense is at its best when the offense is the star, not a singular player. And it never settled in. It never kind of took off the way you kind of felt it should with Deshaun. And then obviously the injuries happen and it's DTR and, that didn't go that well. And they were trying to figure that out. And then immediately Joe comes and it's, wait, we can call our play action passes downfield because his arm is strong enough. We could still run our play action, but we're going to do it a little bit out of the gun and move the pocket, which is not what he did with Deshaun. And I think that's the most impressive thing is not only has he catered it to Joe, like it's in many ways allowing the offense to thrive under Joe because what Joe does and likes is what's best for the offense. And so it's been pretty impressive to watch when you also contrast it to the other teams that have lost some players and they can't get out of their own way.
When you see this, how concerned do you think Cleveland is internally going, wait, we committed what to Deshaun Watson from a financial standpoint and everything else, and this offense is humming at a level that Deshaun wasn't able to achieve with a quarterback that was sitting on the couch throwing to his father 60 yards downfield up until about a month ago?
I think that's very real. And maybe not at the highest level that it's probably going to be because they're in the midst of this playoff run and they feel like they can go beat anybody. So that's got their primary attention. But I think that's very real. I said it this morning, it's not by mistake that this offense has seen 3 different quarterbacks in the last 4 or 5 years play at a pretty darn high level. 2018 or 2019 Kirk Cousins. That was under Kevin Stefanski. And then 2021 Baker Mayfield. Remind everybody, or 2020 Baker Mayfield when he threw for 28 touchdowns and 8 picks and took them to the playoffs. And now you're seeing it with Joe Flacco. And so you're sitting there, just being honest, on the football field, just strictly on the field, and you go, I have 3 examples in the last 5 years where quarterbacks in this offense have played pretty good football to really good football, and we have a guy that we traded a ton for and gave a ton of money to, and that offense never looked this good. So you got to figure out why, and there has to be some consider like, oh, man, did we make a move and or a mistake that we didn't need?
Dan Orlovsky joins us weekly, courtesy of MyBookie, mybookie.ag, code next round to get that deposit bonus up to $1,000, code next round at mybookie.ag. Dallas just cannot win on the road, and the bad news for them is they're going to have to play some road playoff games, Dan. They get Detroit at home this weekend. They play fine there. I can't figure this one out. I mean, I know teams are going to be different home and road, but they cannot win on the road.
Yeah, I think it's a realistic NFC Championship Super Bowl opportunity for Dallas this weekend. Because if Dallas wins and Philadelphia somehow loses, well, then Dallas could win the division, and then we're talking about a home playoff game, for them, which would be obviously a big deal. Dallas is a different team on the road because Dallas is so dependent on Dak at the line of scrimmage, home versus away. Dak is so smart. He uses his cadence so well that he kind of cheats at home in a good way, where he gets the information from the defense, gets them in and out of good plays or bad plays, and they're running ideal situations. Then they get the lead and their defense can hunt, and the crowd noise allows their defense to just become, in many ways, suffocating. They're a completely different team on the road. And that's why I sit here and I say, if Dallas realistically wants to get to the NFC title game and or the Super Bowl, it's a must win.
So Super Bowl 57, less than a year ago, Kansas City, Philadelphia. If I would have gone back to September, both of those teams look great. Or I shouldn't say great, but there was no way these teams weren't going to be able to make a run to Super Bowl 58. I mean, it would kind of be shocking, right, if either one of those teams is in a Super Bowl this year?
Yes, I don't know, shocking, but I think the play would lead you to be like, oh, they fixed some things at the most important time. It's interesting because Philadelphia, you had a little bit more faith in, I guess, because both teams had a little bit of unknowns. But Philadelphia, you're like, well, the offensive line is back. Jaylen is still there. That offense can cover up for some of the losses on defense. That hasn't been the case. The offense has not nearly been as dominant and explosive as it was last year. And those younger players just haven't played to the kind of the expectation level that they had. Now, Darius Slay coming back, Avonte Maddox coming back, Zach Cunningham coming back. I still think Philly is going to be in the conversation. Kansas City, again, you went into the season going, well, who's going to step forward at wide receiver because they lost Juju and they lost Amico Hardman, and no one has outside of Rashee Rice, but it's been some other players that left them down. Both tackles have played poorly. I think I'm a little bit not ready to completely count Kansas City out because if they play a clean month of football, they can get to the Super Bowl. Now everyone's going to say, well, yeah, they haven't, Dan, but they're capable of it. It's Andy Reid, it's Patrick Mahomes, it's Juwan Taylor, who was a big free agent signing. They have the capability of clean football. Some teams, they can't get there. Like Indianapolis, if they get into playoffs, it's an unbelievable accomplishment. They're not getting to the Super Bowl. They don't have the talent to get to the Super Bowl. Kansas City does. They just have to play a clean brand. And I think that they're capable because that's a controllable.
All right. Before you go, Dan, I gave my colleagues here the opportunity to ask the Dolphins question. Nobody did it, so now I'm going to have to do it. You guys, I saw your panel straight across the board, Baltimore. Didn't hurt my feelings there. What happens to make you guys wrong? What does Miami do to win this game?
Yeah, I think number one, Miami would have to run right at Baltimore. Baltimore did such a good job on the edges versus San Francisco. Both these offenses are essentially identical, so they'll have to run right at Baltimore. Two, they're going to have to do a great job of confusing Patrick Queen, Roquan Smith, and Kyle Hamilton, with a lot of their pre-snap motion and ball handling to try to create some throws open across the middle. And then they're going to have to do an unbelievable job of not allowing Lamar to go make plays out of structure. That's the difference in that game in many ways against San Francisco. He had 8 of them. That if they can do a really good job, Wilkins and Chubb and Van Ginkel, of minimizing that, I think they can cover Baltimore up.
We won't get a chance to talk to you again until after the college football semifinals, and you do a little work, as we all know, in college football as well. You got a feel on either one of those games, who you think is going to win those games or how they will play out?
I think the Alabama-Michigan game will be an unbelievable watch. Can Alabama match the physicality of Michigan's offensive line? Will be interesting to watch. How does Michigan deploy their defensive plan versus Alabama with Burton and Jaylen will be a big deal. I think Alabama wins the game, but it's going to have to be because they do a really good job against the tight ends of Michigan. I know their corners, both corners that are high-end players, their coverage unit in the middle of the field is going to have to be really good. I like Washington. I love Texas. I do. I love them. I think Washington is offense, defense. You can make the case is the most or the best coached team in the playoff. And I score on Texas. So I'll say Washington and Bama.
All right, Dan, thank you very much for the time. Have a happy new year. We'll see you next week, man. We appreciate it. All right.
Thank you, Dan.
I think we're losing Dan there at the end. Anyway, Dan with us, courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on at MyBookie.ag. Get that sign-on bonus up to $1,000. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. Code next round, MyBookie.ag. Code next round. Like all of our guests, Dan was on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
He brings up the Michigan tight ends, which is a great point. Colson Loveland is a guy. Yep. Fuhrman, you're nodding your head over there. He's a big factor in this game.
He is, and I think he can exploit the middle of the field. So Alabama, if they get caught in a little bit of conflict in terms of what the linebackers want to do, if they get caught flowing downhill to try and slow down Blake Corum and that ground game, Loveland can be able to at least force them to make some of those decisions. So I'm very curious to see who Michigan gets involved and how quickly they try and build up J.J. McCarthy's confidence at the same time, because last year in the semifinal game, Michigan was able to put up crooked numbers against TCU, but it was the pick six early in the game and some of those poor decisions. So Michigan is a team not known to really take some of those high risk, high reward throws early. So I think utilizing the tight end in the middle of the field can create some of those high percentage throws, build confidence, and really open up a little bit more of their playbook.
And I hear a lot of Michigan fans talk about, and a lot of analysts talk about how Loveland can be a big factor in this game.
He ain't Brock Bowers, though.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. I would remind you, Alabama's coming off a game plan where after that first play where he went for 20 yards, they pretty much controlled Brock Bowers the rest of the game.
Do we believe he was 100%?
I don't think he was close to 100%. And I'm still one of those things that I'd love to be able to ask Kirby about, going, why did you go away from a pass-heavy game plan on that opening drive where they march right down the field and put 7 on the board and decide, you know what, that was too easy. We're going to try and run the football and establish our physicality. But Brownie, to your point, asking the question about the Dolphins, I would be surprised if Kyle Hamilton is out there in 100% capacity.
That's huge.
From what I've been told, he was a very limited participant yesterday in practice. The mobility was a lot more problematic with that knee. So we're going to want to monitor that injury report, because if he's not there, he is the ultimate chess piece at the back. When you look at everything he does, not only in helping stop the run, but also what he does for the deep balls. Jalen Waddle most likely out for the game. We saw the report yesterday. But if Miami can get to the edge with no Kyle Hamilton to control things, Devin Achane and Raheem Mostert may have an opportunity to run. And we've seen this Ravens team, after every big win this year, fall flat on their face the next week with a lethargic effort. It was only a few weeks ago where, you know, the Rams, for as well as they're playing, that's a game the Ravens out of the bye can't give up 31 points to the Rams and need a punt return in overtime from Tyler Walls
should have lost
to
the
get
game.
a big win.
Yeah, Mike McDaniel has just confirmed that Waddle's going to be out Sunday. So that's a big loss.
Yeah, factored in the handicap. Yep. This game was 3 before the Ravens went on the road in San Francisco, reopened 4. Those 4s got cleaned out pretty quick. I think we'll see the numbers settle at 3.5, you know, with Kyle Hamilton being the X factor.
All right. So Todd Fuhrman hanging out with us. Trash is in the next segment. But before Fuhrman packs it up for the day, we want to do a 4-down version brought to you by Slice. But Rockstar, we will not do any of the production. So you don't need to give me first down, second down, third down, fourth down. We're going to run through the 4 games today.
For some reason, your mic's got some reverb, they said.
Mine?
Yeah. I don't know what you're doing there.
Please welcome Todd Fuhrman.
I think it was fixed. I don't know why it just reared its head.
Yeah. So Fuhrman's going to give us 4 quick reactions brought to you by our friends at Slice today.
Yeah, 4 great locations. The original in Lakeview, one in Montevallo, Vestavia, Crestline Park, coming soon to Homewood. For more information, slicebirmingham.com. Local pizza, local ingredients. Get in, see the Bajalia brothers, and tell them the Next Round sent you.
Such great pizza. If you ever do come to town, we will take you to
Well, look,
Slice.
you guys have been talking this up for a whole time, and I feel like Talladega for the spring race may be the perfect opportunity for me to get down.
Come on
there.
down.
So
Let's go.
we'll have to start laying the foundation now. I'll get my NASCAR partner down there. I'll leave the wife at home and try and make a weekend out of it for the things that I'll see on Talladega Boulevard that'll make me a changed man.
We may be able to get you a nice ticket package.
No, I think I can get I can get Fuhrman hooked up.
Yeah, we can get you into a nice ticket area, and then you come down. And
I figure I drop your name down away. They'll let me drive the pace car.
I would drop Brown's name before you drop mine. I've caused some havoc in Talladega before.
Somebody once stole the pace car at Talladega and was out on the track.
Why does that not shock?
It should
If it's
not
going to
shock
happen
you.
at any racetrack during the course of the NASCAR season, it may as well happen at
there,
Talladega.
there is, I think, one of our regular guests that will never be at Talladega, and he's probably our most polarizing guest. Can you guess who that is?
Clay Travis.
Clay Travis. Okay, 4 games. Clemson leads Kentucky 3-0 right now on the big 30-foot screen over here, and Clemson has the ball trying to drive here. Quick thought on this game, and we'll run through the other 3.
You had 2 good offensive coordinators with a month to prepare, but a lot of questions about Clemson's ability to stretch the field with some of the receivers hitting the portal. Kentucky's been vulnerable to the deep ball, but you can't really run it that effectively on them. And when I look on the other side, let's see what we get from Devin Leary. If he's a little bit healthier than we saw for stretches, you love seeing a player like Ray Davis say, I came to Kentucky because I wanted to play in games like this. No, we know he's going to be playing on Sundays for someone next year, but still out there competing with his teammates. That's what bowl season's all about, and you don't see it enough in this day and age.
I don't know who you played here. I actually played at lanceslock.com. I gave out Kentucky plus the points, 8-5, by the way, on our bowl guarantee right now. Didn't love this game. This just seems like one of those yucky under games. Took a look at the under. But
playing that way early.
That's where I have a little bit of exposure to an under number at the top of the market. Came back a little bit when the price bottomed out today at 43. So the game fell between 43 and 47. I would be more than thrilled.
You guys will love the fact that I like Clemson in this contest here. So that's good. Okay, 30-second answers on these because we have trash in the next segment. Sun Bowl, Oregon State, Notre Dame at 1 o'clock today Central Time.
Number coming down. I like Notre Dame. 4 would be my buy point on the Irish. I think their backups are better than Oregon State's backups, and I have some real concerns if there's an injury or 2 for the Beavers where their focus is here. So lean Irish, but I want 4 as my number to buy.
Coaching changes are always crazy for the Beavers there, and I think Notre Dame likes their quarterback in this contest. 2:30 today Central Time. Memphis taking on Iowa State.
Liberty Bowl had been one of the toughest places to play in college football over the last handful of years. We've seen some of that home field advantage eroded here. I think it'll feel like an Iowa State home game, despite being played on Memphis's home field.
Wow.
Coaching mismatch, in my opinion, Matt Campbell against Ryan Silverfield. This is an explosive Memphis offense. The back door may be open, but we saw a little bit more out of Rocco Beck and some of that big play potential. I think Iowa State would be my lean here at -10.
Yeah, I've got Iowa State as my free play today. I like the Cyclones a lot.
Lance'sLock.com when you hear him talk about free plays. And then the first New Year's Six bowl game rolls tonight. Missouri and Ohio State as they play each other. Travion Henderson is expected to play. We don't know about Marvin Harrison Jr. He is with the team. There's some up in the air. We're going to get to see the quarterback of the future, maybe in Devin Brown. There's a lot to like about Ohio State, but for Missouri, they're treating this like a landmark game for their program. All their stars are checked in.
They are. You'd like to see him healthier on the defensive side with no Rakestraw. That could be a big loss if Harrison does decide to go. This game has been fascinating to watch the line movement. We saw Missouri open as a 6-point underdog. Kyle McCord announces his intentions early on in the process. This number swung as far as Missouri, a 2.5-point favorite, and we're now almost back to where we started with the Buckeyes, a 5.5-point favorite. You mentioned Devin Brown, and what I think is interesting about this, Ohio State's had their name attached to every quarterback in the transfer portal, whether it was Cam Ward, whether it's Will Howard. If they really believed in Devin Brown, would this be going on? I think as the number continues to trend up, I would lean towards Missouri. But that Marvin Harrison storyline is fascinating because no one seems to know, but the betting market typically knows first. And with the way this price is moving, tells me Harrison may be out there in some capacity, but maybe just for a series or 2, if that.
Well, you and I know this. I mean, really the only thing that moves a number is a quarterback. But right now it's sitting at 5.5. If news comes down that Harrison's not playing, how much do you think it moves? 1.5?
We could see it move back to 4, but interesting because, I mean, Devin Brown we thought was going to be the starting quarterback, and that was when Missouri was a 2.5-point favorite. So to see this back and forth, I mean, this is what professional bettors look for and bookmakers fear, because guys that got ahead of it are holding a +6 ticket on Missouri on one hand, and they're holding an Ohio State ticket at +2.5. And with a 7.5+ point middle here around a lot of key numbers, it works out in their favor. So books will hope it doesn't fall in that middle zone for you.
8 Eastern, 7 Central for that one tonight, 5 o'clock, where we'll be out in Los Angeles with all the Alabama folks. If you're making your way out, safe travels. That's what our Emily Grace McWhorter is doing. Taylor Korn is covering Auburn for tomorrow's game. All of her coverage on our social media platform as well. Trash coming up on the other side. I'll remind you, when's the last time you had your roof checked? It's so important. It's just a human thing. You got to have a good roof over your head, right? If you don't get that roof checked out, things can start happening. It just takes one shingle to be disrupted in a southern storm that starts allowing water to leak in and causing thousands of dollars worth of damage. That's where Greg from Pell City comes in. He'll do a free, no cost, no obligation roof inspection if you call him on his cell number, 205-542-3531. 542-3531. That's Greg from Pell City. He and his wife own the company. It's been locally owned for over 20 years, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, all the warranties you need. And here's the best part. The insurance guys trust him. They love Greg from Pell City. That's going to help you in the long run as well. 205-542-3531. We'll do trash when we come back to the Doghouse at Resort World in Las Vegas. LT's up next.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at Scott Forrester TV.
This holiday season, give yourself the gift of peace of mind with a credit card from Legacy Credit Union. Why risk shopping with cash when you can enjoy the safety and convenience of shopping with their contactless credit card? With a Legacy credit card, you can enjoy incredible perks like rates as low as 8.9% APR, no annual fees, and no balance transfer fees. But that's not all. Earn fantastic rewards for travel and merchandise through Scoreboard Rewards. Apply online today at LegacyCreditUnion.com to make your holiday shopping not just safer, but smarter. APR and annual percentage rates. Certain restrictions may apply. Subject to approval. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Tom Luganville here for Jack's Western and Outdoor Wear. For great holiday shopping for the whole family, this place is a must. Jack's carries all the name brands in boots, hats, and apparel, including the Kynes Ranch brand, as seen on Yellowstone. You might not look like Kevin Costner, but you can dress like him. Jack's also has the only Ariat shop within a shop in the state of Alabama. Come see us every Monday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Sundays from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Just look for the big red building off I-65, exit 304 in Coleman.
The Next Round is so much more than the show you get from 9 to 1 each day. So make sure to head to our official YouTube channel at Next Round Live and subscribe to get all of our latest content. We, of course, have plenty of specialty content and shorts based all around the sports in the heart of the SEC. But we also talk pro sports, gambling, lifestyle and entertainment, and so much more. It's the Next Round YouTube channel where you never know what you're going to find next. Subscribe now to see the latest content and get notifications when we go live. That's at Next Round Live on YouTube.
This holiday season, help feed families in need by donating at your local Piggly Wiggly. With your donation, Piggly Wiggly and Coca-Cola will provide free packaged holiday meals through the Community Food Bank of Central Alabama. Look to make your donations of $1, $5, or $10 at the register inside your local Piggly Wiggly. Visit thepigbeham.com or mypigglywiggly.com for the location nearest you. Enjoy the real magic of the season.
Southern Rubber Tire is the choice for tires and service in downtown Birmingham. Bryant and the guys can handle any of your automotive needs and carry all major tire brands. From brakes to alignments to oil changes and more, no job too big or too small. Southern Rubber and Tire, conveniently located on 6th Avenue North near I-65. You can check them out online today. Go to southernrubbertire.com. Let them know you heard it from the Next Round. Before you get on the road in 2024, head into Southern Rubber Tire.
Support the show and grab some great t-shirts and hoodies right now in the Next Round store. Buy the Alabama State map shirts in your team's favorite colors, the popular Y'all Can Have the Rest, or Next Round flag shirts are also online now. Just go to nextround.store. That's nextround.store. The traditional Next Round logo shirts are there too. Buy them for yourself, or they make a great gift for someone else. And let us know what you'd like to see in the store coming up. Nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
I thought we were so loose that we should have just put that on the air. I was just going to do it live with the air. We were trying to take a picture with Fuhrman because we're rarely in person with him. And Little T wanted it. And he had to roll.
Yeah, I've known Fuhrman for a decade. I've only hung out with him. This is my third time.
I think this is the second time I've met him, maybe.
Yeah,
Where did I meet him the other time?
I don't know.
It was with Clay somewhere.
I came out to
Atlanta. Was it Atlanta? Did he come to Atlanta for something?
Maybe. Not sure.
I don't know. I went to the 5th anniversary of the Outkick party. First time I hung out with Fuhrman, and then I came out here for a bachelor party a few years ago.
Well,
and Fuhrman and I met up.
Well, there's no way I've met Fuhrman without you. So I was at neither one of those things. So that was the first time I'd ever met Fuhrman. What a great guy. And what I was amazed about was, because I've always wondered, and I wondered if you have too. I've always wondered if he had papers in front of him when he talks all the crap that he does on the show.
Crazy.
All the information he spits out. And I sat here and watched him, and he took one look at a notepad one time in a commercial break, and what he was doing was logging down 2 bets that he had made this morning, because he keeps a paper journal, much like this guy does, of every bet he's ever made in notebooks. And so he went down during one break while we were preparing for the next segment. He wrote down the 2 bets. He didn't look at one note the entire time.
Had his computer right here, never opened it.
Never opened his computer.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And I've always wondered that because we don't see him. He joins us by phone.
And we can literally ask him about anything.
Look, he's not here to hear us brag on him, but he is one of the more intelligent, just pure numbers guys. I mean, they don't hire guys from the East Coast to come out and work a casino. You heard the probability, the algorithms he was talking about.
Fascinating.
Yeah. So he has got a one of those brilliant minds. By the way, breaking news: college football.
What we got?
Alabama has become a 2-point underdog. Michigan is ticked up to 2. Sitting here in the sports
I
book.
bet you it goes back down to 1.5. That's what it's done every time, isn't it?
But if you like Michigan, which I think you do on the betting side of this, you think that's a good sign then, right? Am I right? Is that what I'm saying? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I mean, I just think at this point, I think the recreational money is going to come on Alabama, and I think the professional money is going to come on Michigan. With all that said, look, this is not one of these professions. I mean, guys that can win at a 53, 54% clip can make a living in this industry.
Yeah.
So just because the smart money and the sharps are all over Michigan doesn't mean they're going to win the game.
That's
but
right.
That's the way this is playing right now. You heard Fuhrman say it earlier. It's setting up where the sports books out here are going to be pulling for Michigan.
Okay, 36 after the hour here. We're traveling to Los Angeles today. We're about to do trash. This hour brought to you by our friends at Champy's world famous fried chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster, open for lunch and to get your food all weekend long as you watch the bowl games. The hand-cut chicken fingers and the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales are my recommendations to watch football with. Champy'sChicken.com. It's Sterling and the crew. Great folks right there. Rockstar, let's hit the big button, man.
A Jacksonville man just won $1 million jackpot from a scratch-off.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Buying a home, major milestone in life. Getting it right comes down to the right advice at the right time. That's why we're proud to partner with our friends at Mortgage Right, who do mortgages the right way. Call 205-815-9200. Apply online, mortgageright.com/TNR. I've got Offbeat holidays in January.
One of my favorite things Rockstar puts together with Trash.
This is going to be shocking to you guys. January 1st is
New Year's Day.
Swear off alcohol day.
Chinese New Year.
It's close. It's National Hangover Day.
National, I would imagine, yeah.
January 7th. Rocky, you're going to help me with this. Old Rock Day.
So this is a day where you're supposed to admire old rocks, gems, and minerals.
Where'd Rockstar go, Tyler?
He has to take care of some cats. I don't know any details.
You're being serious.
I'm being dead serious. He said he had
I
to
thought you were
going to
say
take
he's
care
on
of
the
some cats.
shitter.
Maybe that's what taking care of some cats is.
Yeah, my favorite part of that is Tyler. He's got to take care of some cats. I don't know any details.
He ain't good at it. You guys, he had a cat, Milton. He locked it in the closet for a week.
Yep.
Okay, January 11th is Step in a Puddle and Splash Your Friends Day. Very stupid.
Yeah, it is kind of dumb.
January's not off to a good start.
Yeah, pretty rough.
This is how dangerous we were as kids. We would stand, like after a big rainstorm, we would stand on the side of the road by a puddle and get cars to come as close as they could to us to splash the puddle upon us. Is that safe?
No, but I knew kids that did that. You weren't alone in that.
Yeah, I did not know kids to do this. Everyone wanted to know after I sent out what happened on our plane last night. If you were okay, but you weren't on our plane.
What did they think? I seized out.
Well,
what happened?
You might have.
No.
Tell them, Brown. You're better at describing.
So first
apparently,
of all,
I overemphasized the fact that we were going 5,500 miles an hour.
Yeah, I am not a pilot, but it felt like our old boy came in a little hot. I'm just gonna say, like he put her down hot, and the runway was wet, and we hydroplaned. Like it was,
like it slid. Like
Yeah,
you could tell
you
we
could
were
feel it.
sliding.
yeah.
Did your heart skip a beat?
It did. It did. I tweeted out. I said, we hydroplaned, we skid, we even had a little turn in the plane, LT, and I said, hopefully only skid marks on the runway.
I was in a good spot last night. Little edible and some double bourbons.
Whoa!
I was in a good spot.
So
we're on our way to the airport last night, and we're getting off at the Birmingham airport exit.
Right.
And Brown and I have been in the car together 9 minutes. And what did you say, Brown?
So, did you have an edible? He was Jimmy Giggler, and he was talking about everything. He's like, Brown, look at Slossburden. I do love Slossburden.
9 minutes. 9 minutes together.
You are easy to bet.
He was like, did you have an edible?
Yes.
And I was like, Brown.
It was like the most random conversations. Don't you love Slossburden, Brown?
So did people boo the guy?
No, they didn't boo the guy, but crap was
he
falling.
saved us. He turned into the
Sully?
You know, I think he was coming in a little too hot, personally. But crap was falling, like people's phones were falling.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just a mess, man.
Speaking of the Sully thing, I always thought that was a little overrated until I watched disasters, plane disasters, disasters in air disasters.
Air disasters on Smithsonian.
Hey, those things are not built to hit the
No,
water.
well, they said, it was like a 1 in almost a million the way one of the wings didn't hit the water, because if it hits that, the entire plane is destroyed.
Yeah, and starts
And I was
breaking
like,
apart.
Did it in the Hudson River?
Yeah, who can do that?
Hey, and by the way, if it just gets one break in it, then those people drown. They can't get out fast.
And by the way, it was icy water. They were able to come out, stand on the wing, and they get rescued.
Yeah, American hero.
January 24th, Global Belly Laugh Day.
I like good belly laugh.
And January 29th, Bubble Wrap Appreciation Day. Did either one of you guys wrap your Redmont vodka in bubble wrap?
No.
But so far, so good.
But it is wrapped.
One more flight. Yeah. One more flight.
So a man might have felt the holiday spirit on Christmas Eve when he decided to make his own version of snow angels while hiding from deputies. It all started when a deputy responded to a crash. 7 p.m. on Sunday, the sheriff's office and the driver, identified as 34-year-old Armando Reyes Rios, decided to run away from the crash and into a nearby construction site. Now, the county sheriff's office, they captured Rios hiding from deputies while he was making dirt angels.
Dirt angels?
Yeah, instead of the snow angel,
he
was making the dirt angel.
I like the picture behind bars. That's an old school reference, in behind bars.
Moments later, video shows Rios hopping over a construction site fence where he was met by 3 deputies and a canine.
It looks like we have heat sensors on.
Yeah.
And we're about to take him out. Like we're about to, in picture on the right, we're about to shoot him in the crotch.
He looks like a giant in those photos because those look like trees next to him. So I guess that was like police helicopter footage or something like that.
You're right. It looks like number 12 went and laid in the shrubs.
No, I feel like I'm Predator looking at a human.
That's true. Yeah.
I've always. Have you guys ever seen the video that went viral? The dude goes in and does a cannonball into one of the tanks at Bass Pro Shops.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It was only a matter of time before this happened. Authorities in Florida searching for a man who entered a Bass Pro Shops with a net, removed a 50-pound tarpon from the fish pond, and then ran out of the store with it.
Can you imagine it just dripping? The net's just dripping water everywhere, and he's just running all day.
Customer videotaped the man. I don't know if we've got video there.
There it is. There it is.
Carrying the net with the wiggling tarpon as he left the store. The incident occurred at the store the night of December 20th.
Suspect yet to be identified. They say, quote, right now our criminal investigations division working to follow leads in the case. But this dude has gotten away so far.
Wow. So they couldn't catch him, huh? I mean, I would not think he'd be able to get out of the store quickly with a 50-pound tarpon in a net.
Just looking at the picture right here, I'd start with my friends with Duck Dynasty and then move from there.
Work from there?
Yep.
So
then I would go Need to Breathe, and then after that, I'm lost.
Wasn't long ago we saw a halftime show with J-Lo and Shakira.
Okay.
Now Shakira is getting her own statue. She's going Saban-like. Bronze statue of the Colombian singer Shakira has been unveiled in her hometown of Barranquilla. Now, the 6.5 meter tall, which equates to 21.3 feet. That's a big ass.
Wow, look at this thing. Look at this thing.
And Braun shows her swiveling her hips in a dance move, which features her heavily popular Hips Don't Lie video.
I mean, that is
that's pretty well done. I mean, I can't see the face.
Yeah, but that's Statue of Liberty like.
It's almost mermaid-like.
Statue of Liberty.
Give me your tires.
You know, the ironic thing is Shakira's 4'11", I think.
Is she that small?
I think she's 4'11".
Yeah. I mean, I assume those are normal-sized women.
I don't know after that thermal picture we had earlier.
Is this a drawing or is this a...
No, that's it.
That's the actual statue. So the statue's up now.
Well, it looks like it's in the middle of freaking nowhere.
Well, it looks like, you remember when you would give like a fourth-grade girlfriend a bad like fake gold and it would turn green in a shower?
Yeah.
It looks like the statue has already turned green.
No, I agree with you on that. It looks like they skimped on the gold.
They didn't skimp on the hips, though.
They did not. They
lifelike.
Yeah.
Finally, there are new developments Wednesday and an ongoing investigation and what some people are calling mystery notes found inside of sealed food packages.
Oh, no.
Now, the I-Team first reported the concerns Tuesday over a note found in the box of cereal. Since the first reports aired, several emails and calls from viewers from across the country have received, all telling similar stories about finding cryptic notes inside of various packaged foods. Now, according to Joe Miller, quote, it just bothers me. It's the note that really bothers me. These notes are found inside of foods like kids' foods. That was a really fragmented sentence from Joe there.
Come on, Joe, get your crap together.
Showed the I-Team on Tuesday what he found inside of a box of sealed Lucky Charms that he bought from a grocery store. One person reached out on Facebook saying, quote, so glad to see our report about strange notes. I found one several months ago, and just last month, I found one in one of my dark chocolates. This is weird. I don't understand what's going on.
The note says I'm in the house.
But if you get a note out of a sealed thing of Lucky Charms,
that's gonna be a little weird. I don't deny that. Yeah.
I have no answers.
Yeah, that's a bizarre story there.
Other than that tricks are for kids.
That's all I've got, by the way.
So some of the customers with the boxes read the notes, and they warned of conspiracy theories that linked JFK to Lord of the Rings. And the investigation team didn't share the notes with anybody. They kept it blurred until it's finished.
Well, I mean, I thought we all knew JFK was linked to Lord of the Rings. I thought that was common knowledge.
Well, I thought the Lord of the Rings was written about JFK.
He's in it, isn't he?
And we all knew Jacqueline was my precious.
My precious. You know what you're talking about.
Can
you tell me who the character
got one
was
right
that said that?
That was...
Because this is weird. I did not like the movies. I only saw one of the movies, but as a kid, they had the animated. It was brought to you by Xerox. It was almost like Augusta National. They had one presenting sponsor.
Right.
It was Xerox for all of the J.R.R. Tolkien, Hobbit, Lord of the Rings. I loved those as a kid, but trying to watch the movies, I couldn't do it.
New Orthol.
No.
All right, that's trash. Brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
Orthol.
We appreciate Mortgage Right so much. Tell us about them real quickly, LT.
Yeah, buying a home, major milestone in life, getting it right comes down to the right advice at the right time. Call 205-815-9200 or online mortgageright.com/TNR.
And thank you so much to our friends at Coca-Cola and Piggly Wiggly giving back to the community this holiday season, helping feed the hungry with the Community Food Bank of Central Alabama. You can still go buy Piggly Wiggly and help out throughout the year. MyPigglyWiggly.com for the location near you, MyPigglyWiggly.com. And always drink our great Coke products. We have the Coke, Diet Coke that Brown has, second row right. Coke Zero right there in the middle. Is it the best Coke ever? Maybe it is. Try it for yourself. And then that's a Coke Zero Cherry to the far left of the screen. On the top is the classic
It's all right there back in our studio in Birmingham. We're in Vegas at the Doghouse. We won't be here long because we're on our way to Los Angeles this afternoon, LAX. And somewhere between Atlanta and LAX is Emily Grace McWhorter. She's here. All of our social media platforms right now with Taylor Korn. She's in Nashville, the Music City, getting ready and continuing to cover Auburn's news conferences today before they play Maryland tomorrow. All of our coverage all weekend long. We got a live show tomorrow. We don't know the times yet, so set your alerts. Live show Sunday, and then our normal show coming up Monday and Tuesday, 9 a.m. Central to 12 noon, both on game day and the day after the game. And then on January 3rd, we're right back here in Vegas at the Doghouse before we head back to Birmingham and or Houston. So that's our plans. One more segment to go that includes a little Tommy Reese for you in the final segment. That's coming up right here on the next round from the Doghouse.
Unlocked with Fox Sports' Brock Heward and Lance Taylor weekly at Disrupt the Media on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
The Next Round store is live and loaded. Check out the latest logo t-shirts and hoodies. Get your favorite team colors, the Next Round flag shirt, or grab the popular Y'all Can Have the Rest t-shirts. Go to nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
Southern Rubber Tire, your choice for tires and service in downtown Birmingham. Bryant and the guys can handle any of your automotive needs. They carry all major tire brands. Southern Rubber, conveniently located 6th Avenue North near I-65. Check them out online, southernrubbertire.com, and let them know you heard it on the next round.
Fire damage to your home or business is something you never want to consider. Ryan Brown here from the Next Round. But in the horrible event it happens, Dry Tech is here to help. They respond quickly and will reply to you within 20 minutes when you call 205-637-0143. They're working for you, the customer, not the insurance company. They've got 5 crews ready to go 24/7. Don't call the insurance company first. Call Dry Tech. Just remember this website, mydrytech.com. That is mydrytech.com.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live will share the latest interviews and videos from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and campuses all over the college landscape. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Live Daily Show. Jim, Lance, and Ryan will share their thoughts. And remember, you can always see the old shows on the Next Round Live YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and don't forget to comment. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. It's Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
This holiday season, help feed families in need by donating at your local Piggly Wiggly. With your donation, Piggly Wiggly and Coca-Cola will provide free packaged holiday meals through the Community Food Bank of Central Alabama. Look to make your donations of $1, $5, or $10 at the register inside your local Piggly Wiggly. Visit thepigbeham.com or mypigglywiggly.com for the location nearest you. Enjoy the real magic of the season.
Make sure to start your day at nextroundlive.com. Get caught up on the latest podcasts and videos from the live daily show, plus specialty shows such as the Mystery Fifth Hour. You can also learn more about the whole staff at Double Down Media, find all of our social media feeds, see the latest videos from our YouTube channel and gaming channel, plus find other ways to consume the show like the Next Round mobile app, which you can download direct from the site via your iOS and Android device. Make nextroundlive.com your homepage and stay up to date with everything from us here at the Next Round.
All right, final segment here before we get it out and hit the airport again and make our way out for Media Day tomorrow for Alabama at the Rose Bowl. Media Day for Michigan as well. Tonight, by the way, the Alabama football team goes to Lowry's and tries to win the Beef Challenge. Last night, Michigan win. I do not know the total that Alabama has to beat, but I think it advantage Alabama that they get to go a day after, so they know how much they have to eat. But advantage Michigan that they get an extra day to digest it before the game on Monday.
That's like, hey, we're gonna choose defense in overtime.
That's right.
Yeah.
So Alabama's at Lowry's tonight. Another padded practice expected today for Alabama. They went 2 hours in pads yesterday. Tommy Rees, cut for Rockstar, is the offensive coordinator. You don't get to talk to these guys until we get to the playoffs. So here's Tommy Rees on what he had to say about the adversity early on into the season, specifically after South Florida and where this team has grown now. So Tommy Rees right now here on the next round.
I think everybody kind of just kept going, and there were some hard times, and that's part of this game, but I think ultimately we've become better for it. Our players just kind of kept working, never really dipped in their belief of what we could become, and without that adversity, I don't think we're in the spot we're at right now. And so as a guy that's in front of the group, and we always talk about it being a we, us, our offense, I'm extremely proud of the effort and the work that's been put in to become where we're at. It's not about me, it's not about any individual, it's about the group collectively putting in the time and effort to get to where we've been. And look, hopefully we continue to build off of that momentum, and our focus is on the task at hand, and that's one thing our group has done a great job all year is, what are we trying to accomplish today, and let's focus on that.
His stock is way up.
Oh, boy, is it.
I was going to say, a guy that really doesn't get enough credit. Alabama fans were really critical on Bill O'Brien. They were critical with Pete Golding. Tommy Rees is doing a great job, and everybody talks about Jaylen Milroe, and hey, that's all well and good. But I think Tommy Rees is getting as comfortable and more comfortable. It's almost like these two have grown together.
Yeah, I think if you're Tommy Rees and you can come back and Milroe can have that Heisman winning type season, I'm not saying he wins it. He may, I don't know. But if he can be a New York finalist for a Heisman, that's a head coaching job for Tommy Rees. He'll be a head coach.
Yeah, and I don't think these guys are too young now. So Tommy Rees will be 32 years old.
Yeah,
that's right.
Sean McVay's been the youngest coach in the NFL for 7 straight years.
I think Tommy Rees says if this continues, Jim, if it continues the way it is, I want to throw that if out there because, to your point, there was a time this season where people were killing the guy. If it continues this way, his problem will be taking a job too quickly and not being patient.
Right, but if he, say, comes back to Alabama next year with Jaylen Milroe, and then Nick Saban decides after next year, and they have a successful year again next year, I'm not saying he would get the job, but he'd be in the conversation.
Well, and Julian's saying if he is what everybody thinks he is, and listen, 5-star guys flame out, 5-star guys hit sometimes, so you just don't know. But if Julian's saying is what everybody thinks he is, Dunaway, you're going to go from Jaylen Milroe to Julian saying. That's a good spot to be in.
Well, I'll tell you this: Tommy Rees got a better chance of getting this job than Lane Kiffin. He's got a better chance of getting the job than Dabo Swinney. All it takes really, if Nick Saban hangs out a couple of more years, Tommy Rees continues to have really productive offenses. Saban loves the guy. All he's got to do is say, you know what? I think your coach is right here, and it's a done deal.
One more soundbite, Rockstar. Cut number 5, brought to you by our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama and Southern Rubber, bringing our coverage of the Rose Bowl. This is the Michigan defensive coordinator, Jesse Minter, talking about, he worked with the Ravens. He saw Lamar Jackson. He says it's helping him prepare for Jaylen Milroe in this game. Here is Jesse Minter, Michigan's defensive coordinator, right now on the next round.
There's certainly things that we always tried in practice or maybe watched other teams try to defend Lamar. So there's certainly, a little bit of experience in that and studying film and talking to different people. But I think he's his own player. He's played at a really high level. He's a different type of runner. He can run, he runs with power as well. And he really runs like a 225-pound tailback once he's in the open field. And I think the key is that's how you have to try to tackle him. You can't leave your feet. You can't you can't try to push him out of bounds. You have to tackle him as if he's Derrick Henry running the football.
So
That's
Tommy,
pretty amazing.
Yeah, well, Tommy Rees might be a head coach after next year. That guy, Jesse Minter, will 100% be a coach after next year. His dad, Rick Minter, was a head coach at Cincinnati forever. He's done an incredible job with that defense, and he is a young, bright, sharp guy.
Tell us about Southern Rubber downtown, my friend.
Yeah, Southern Rubber Tire, your choice for tires and service in downtown Birmingham. Bryant, the guys, can handle any of your automotive needs, carry all major tire brands. They also have financing available. from brakes to alignment to oil changes and more. No job too big or too small. Southern Rubber Tire, conveniently located 6th Avenue North near I-65. You can check them out online, southernrubbertire.com, or just stop by, see Bryant and all the guys, and tell them the Next Round sent you.
Portia, while I tell everybody about UCA, another one of our presenting sponsors, queue up and get ready to roll on Brownie's dinner last night at Midway. Urology Centers of Alabama want to remind everyone that getting checked out, early detection is so key to your health. 35 urologists, 16 locations around Alabama. Book your appointment right now, urologycentersalabama.com, urologycentersalabama.com. UCA, we appreciate them so much. Last night at Midway, we had a choice. We went to a place called Billy Goat Tavern in Midway, known for their hamburgers.
Yeah, they look good, too.
I went with a hamburger. It's like you would get at a pharmacy, the old school drugstore. Brown, we were in Chicago, so what did he go with? Show him, Forrester. He went the Italian beef and sausage with peppers, right?
Yeah, the Italian beef, I had seen it on Bear, the TV show on Hulu, and I always wanted to try it. And they had what they called a combo, and I could not pass this up. It had both a piece of Italian sausage and the Italian beef in a bun, and I got the peppers on top. And it was very, very good. I have since regretted it over the last...
Gosh, that thing is...
It's huge. Yeah, it's huge. It's the only thing I had to eat all day yesterday, though. I've regretted it over the last 12 hours.
Well, you guys had a better food choice. Again, we were at Love Field, and the only restaurant was Chili's, and he said, we've got only bar options. And so one of them was sliders. And I will tell you, if I ever have a digestive problem, and I will not go X-Lax, I will go to Chili's and get sliders.
Thank you so much to the Doghouse and everyone here at Resort World. It's been so fun today. We'll do it again on Wednesday when we come back through Vegas. But we're on our way to LAX and to Los Angeles and to Malibu and to Pasadena. Join us for the ride. All of our social media platform as well with Taylor in Nashville and Emily Grace, who's trying to get to LA. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.